Sactown Sports Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who sat out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from 3. Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. With the Kings' win, they are now a half game out of the second seed in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight with the Grizz in LA playing the Lakers. Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. It is 11 o'clock, time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men, and it's also time for Deuce and Mo.
Live from Sacramento.
It's Deuce and Mo
On Sactown Sports.
We are live. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Deuce, Mason, Morgan, Reagan. It's Deuce and Mo. And of course, we got our buddy Chris Watkins hanging out with us in this first hour. Big show just launched this week for Chris Watkins. Right before us from 10 to 11 Monday through Friday. Are you enjoying it, man?
Yeah, today went by really fast.
Yeah.
Which is ideal for sure. That definitely means you're flowing, conversations, or I say conversations. It was
You're
by
just
myself.
talking
Yeah, I was
yourself.
talking to myself. But the conversation with myself, I felt went great. One of the better conversations with myself.
Oh, yeah. That's when you can have a good conversation with yourself. It's
Yeah.
just
That's
great.
very rare.
Top notch.
My inner dialogue is not productive at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I have I always talk to myself, always. But I do it out loud. Like even my inner conversations.
Yeah,
like,
it's outer dialogue.
Yeah, so it's outer dialogue.
Outer, inner, yeah.
Yeah, where sometimes maybe you shouldn't be saying it out loud, but you're just like, oh, and then it turns out there's a camera on me 24/7 now in my life.
That's
and
a
I'm
lot
like,
worse.
oh
right?
God, Truman Show.
And Chris, how about his name? Golden One Center?
How
Dude,
about
it's...
Chris!
I'll say that honestly, when we had our name up there for the first time, like it's Deuce and Mo, I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. We're all born and raised in Sacramento. And when you see that, you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty
kind of hits
badass.
different. Yeah, because it's like I was just one of the 18,000 spectators in this crowd at one point, and there's only 6 people who can say that they have their name,
and you're like, wow, this place actually did something okay for me for once. After all these years, they decided to show some level of support. It's as basic as it gets, just a font that says Chris & Co, but for some reason it hits.
Yeah, no,
comment.
it's like you work your ass off, and then when people don't do anything, it's great when they finally do. And honestly, so proud of you, but also thank you so much for actually posting about it on your Twitter, on your Instagram, because Chris is one of those guys that is like,
Morgan gets so mad.
I don't like self-promotion.
I don't.
You think
It's
I like
so gross.
posting selfies and photos all the damn time?
I do.
No,
yeah.
Chris, I do not. But I must, because you got to keep going on and on and on if you want to keep making it.
Well, it's day 2. It's day 2. I'm still
Kinda,
learning.
yeah.
Well,
Keep posting.
We've got a lot to get to on today's show. This hour, we're going to talk a lot about what happened last night at Golden One Center. The Kings winning without De'Aaron Fox. Also coming up today at noon, Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW is going to be in studio with us. How tall is Powerhouse Hobbs?
Oh, he's got to be 6'4", 6'5".
Is he that tall?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to be one of those guys that looks taller, but he's my height, but just yoked.
Oh, he's a big dude.
He's gotten in tremendous shape too.
Gotten?
No, I mean, compared to when he first started AEW to now, he's ripped.
He was pretty ripped.
Okay.
Coming
Okay.
in. But I will agree.
I'll ask you
How
right
about he was ripped, but now he's cut?
He is cut.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyway, AEW's in Sacramento tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait. And he is fighting for the TNT Championship against Lowe.
Who you got?
It's a good question, man. I don't know.
Are you serious?
Who do I think's going to win?
Oh, who you think's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've definitely, because Powerhouse Hobbs is coming in studio, I'm a Powerhouse Hobbs guy.
And he's a local guy.
Yeah, Bay Area.
He wrestled here.
Okay. You don't think Warlow's wrestled here?
Why
at
are
all?
we already arguing about this to begin with?
I don't know. But he's going to be in studio with us at noon. Let's get into last night's game. Kings get the win over the Pelicans. They hold them to 49 points in the second half. They win 123-108. Going into the game, no De'Aaron Fox. So you're a little worried. The last time the Kings did not have De'Aaron Fox against the Pelicans was that game in New Orleans where they lost by 32 points. And that was with the Pelicans missing everybody pretty much. No BI, no Valanciunas, no Zion. Last night, BI and Valanciunas played. I was a little concerned. I want to see how the Kings were going to respond. I felt like they knew that they had to come out and play with spirit. Mike Brown kind of challenged him after that game against Minnesota the other night. I thought they responded in a big way.
Yeah, definitely. It felt like you said, it felt like they knew, especially defensively, they can't keep trying to get by just on offense. There was going to have to be a point where they were going to have to shut these guys down or shut somebody down. And I mean, last night was a perfect opportunity with Davion Mitchell getting that extended run. You knew he was going to bring a little bit more defensive attention, defensive focus. And I mean, it was a great game.
I just love the way that they came in looking so polished. Like they looked sharp with not only the way that they were moving the ball around on the offensive end, and we'll get to that, and everyone that was making those crisp passes and moving without the basketball, but on the defensive end as well, they were doing a really good job making sure they were taking that extra step to be in help, or making sure that they were contesting shots, especially after taking on Minnesota, and Minnesota hitting 13 open threes on them the other night. So they really responded to a lot of their mistakes that they did make over the weekend.
Yeah, and there were Franklin D. Roosevelts everywhere. You know what I mean?
No, we quite literally do not know.
Talking about dimes, right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Know who's on the dime,
No.
friends. Know what president's on the dime.
Ugh.
The Kings had a season high, tied a season high in dimes with 39.
This feels like
Didn't you guys just have a
lesson.
conversation with Frankie about who
Coins.
carries change?
We totally did.
Yeah, he was telling me about
And you guys were making fun of him for knowing about coins.
No, he said he didn't think that they made coins
Yeah, he
anymore.
did say
Oh,
that
wait,
they
you're
don't
right.
mint
Also,
coins
you're right.
anymore.
Also, I think most people
An
know
idiot.
dimes as Frankie D's, right?
No,
Nobody
Seriously.
does.
You haven't?
Frankie D's.
Yeah, Franklin D. Roosevelt. We call him Frankie D's. That's what dimes, D's.
Honestly, though, can we use that term for now on? They be dropping Frankie D's.
Oh, look who's buying into it now.
Yeah.
See? You
It
like
does
that.
work. It
You're
does
crazy.
work. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
It kind
okay,
of does
we're
work.
calling
It
them
kind of
Frankie
does
D's.
work. I'm
We're
not
calling
gonna
them
lie.
Frankie D's.
Hey, man, that's a new thing.
Frankie
Coming
D's.
to a Mark Jones broadcast.
Oh,
Yes.
Frankie D's all over the court.
Yeah.
I'm using that in Stockton.
Yeah.
Dude, let's do it.
Yes, got to do it.
Dude,
That's
No,
incredible.
we're an idiot. Okay.
All right.
A collective idiot.
Yes.
We are a collective idiot.
Yes. Yeah, but 39 assists last night. And that was
Yeah.
on how many
Oh my
makes?
gosh.
That was on 47 made shots.
Yeah.
It was great to see the ball moving around like that, especially without your guy. I know Fox,
Right.
of course, handles the ball much more, but it was great to see the Kings being decisive, making the right passes, getting the ball moving. I was really pleased to see what Kevin Huerter did. That's a guy that has, struggled in the month of February, couldn't make a 3-point shot to save his life. And in the last 4 games, the guy's 17 of 29 from 3. But I was most impressed with just his approach to the game last night. He was setting up his teammates. He was rebounding well. It's a great game for Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, it was good to see. And he got 8 assists as well. And last time Fox didn't play, he got 9 assists. So it's nice to see him stepping in that role. Also, Mike Brown straight called out all the guards for their rebounding after Saturday's game. And Kevin Huerter finished with 5 rebounds.
Dude, that's the thing. It's not only when he gets called out and then responds to that and the team responds well and they show growth, but I think with someone like Kevin Huerter, it was doing those little things were helping him in so many different ways on the floor, helping him with his flow, with his confidence, and the way he was moving without the basketball. I was saying this to Deuce last night. It was like his footwork, he seemed so much more locked into when he was coming off a screen and making sure to come off a shoulder or a dribble handoff, and just those small details that he was paying attention to. Obviously the team as well, but Kevin Huerter specifically, to have the game like he did last night, that is just such a coachable, fun guy to watch. I'm so excited he had that game.
Yeah, and it goes to show you too, like, guys are just going to go through funks throughout the year. And I think sometimes we're so much more willing to, or what are you doing yoga?
That was like a flamingo
Yeah.
stretch right there.
Wait, really? I was just stretching my leg.
Just randomly.
Yeah.
Just
Like you're about to get it. Like she's about to check
Wait,
in right
seriously? This is distracting. This is distracting.
I didn't know what you were doing. I'm just talking about Kevin Huerter. I just look out of my corner eye and you're like
grabbing your cankle, your shin.
Crazy, bro. This guy is crazy.
Yeah, you're an awful person, and no one likes you. So shut up and let me stretch.
Crazy.
I just think like people are really hard on Kevin Huerter because he missed shots for a minute, and I get it. Like it's frustrating. It's gonna happen. If he was making shots all the time consistently, he'd be an all-star level player, right? Like
he would be Klay Thompson.
That's the thing. And last night, he kind of looked like Klay Thompson with the way he was playing. But yeah, I just think he has proven for the most of this year to be a really big pickup for Sacramento. Just like his chemistry, like obviously him coming off the dribble handoffs with Sabonis, really effective. But I just like his playmaking too.
But even when he was down and in that slump, though, I did feel like there were games when he was dog poo.
Yes.
And then there were games where it's like, he's not shooting well, but he was still doing enough for this team.
Yeah, that was I keep giving him credit for like even when he was going through his perimeter shooting woes, it felt like he was still like trying to get twos as well. Like a lot of times, and me and Frank talk about this all the time, but like it's probably not a great example, but Buddy Hield, it was 3 or bust. It was all I'm doing is taking threes. He's not going to look for, Kevin yesterday had 2 where he drives and kind of gets like a little mid-range floater game that he's got. He goes to that a couple times a game. He was a great cutter last night. Had some great dunks last night. I think we officially saw Kayvon out there last night. So, just like you mentioned, just his ability to not just shoot the ball and that be the only thing he does. Because I do think in the games where, as you say, he is dog poo, when his shot isn't falling, I think it's fair to question why he would be out on the floor at the end of games, because he gets kind of targeted defensively at times by the other team. And, he's not necessarily the primary ball handler or anything like that. So it's really big for his shot to be falling down or for him to find some other way to impact the game.
Well, we got more on this Kings win. We're going to take a 1-minute break on the radio side. We're always live on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. It's Deuce and Mo, Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Will you fix this?
What?
I love Deuce is giving himself credit because Brian said, make sure to push out.
I'm winking because yeah.
The website as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
You're not supposed to hear anything.
I'm on aux.
I don't hear anything anyway. I don't hear you guys. I didn't hear Chris the whole time, even though
it's on wait, it's supposed to be on
aux. I have it on aux. Is it on?
What's it supposed to?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's not working on odd.
I assume that's Audition.
That's why I was like, his was working on aux.
Intro
Oh,
song.
program work.
Nope.
I hear music.
Yeah.
Now what?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe it could be the cord too.
Okay.
Like sometimes you have to fidget with the cord and
Put it in this thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See this thing like.
yeah, it like comes out.
God.
Of,
there
yeah,
we
there
go.
you go.
Okay.
Boom.
Hello.
YouTube chat, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Appreciate all you guys being here. Let's help this channel grow. Make sure to vote in the poll question too. Who was your MVP of the Kings game last night? 62% of people saying Kevin Huerter right now. What's going on, Nicholas? We got Sass in the building. Jamar, Scooter, Brett, Leandro, Martin. What's up?
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Davion throws right wing to Malik Monk as the shot clock hits 6. Inside to Mizzy. Skip it out to Lyles. Extra pass to the corner. There's another three knocked down by Kevin Huerter. He's now got 22 points in this ballgame. Kings are now 15 of 29 from downtown, and they've stretched the lead to 19.
Damn, 25 points. 8 dimes, or Frankie D's as we call him.
Frankie
5
D's.
rebounds and 9 of 16 shooting. 6 of 10 from 3 for Kevin Huerter in that Kings win last night, 123 to 108. And they move closer to the Memphis Grizzlies, just a half game out of the number 2 spot. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Chris Watkins from Chris & Co.
Hey.
There's 10 to 11 right here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Chris Watkins, Morgan Reagan. Real
That's us.
fast,
Deuce
before
Mason.
we get back to this game, did you see the news about Ja Morant today?
Oh.
Mark Stein?
Mark Stein putting out this, that the NBA CBA says a firearm on team premises, including a team plane, is an automatic 50-game suspension. The league is trying to confirm where the firearm came from.
Do you think they're gonna do something where they're not gonna lie, but they're going to bend the truth and be like, well, it wasn't his or it wasn't this, so it's not a 50-game suspension.
I mean, I'm sure they're trying to do anything in their power to avoid that, but I don't know. I mean, that's
he was on the road. He was in Denver. I don't know how, unless he decided to go stop at the gun store right after the game, but before going to the club, I don't.
Game ends. We just lost to Denver. Yeah. Hey, let's go to the gun shop, man. No, it sucks. It's very unfortunate. And, I was thinking about it over the summer too. I try not, we try not to judge people on social media, but we see people's stories all the time and we judge them for sure.
What I'm talking about? No idea what you're talking about.
I hate watch, I judge, I do all the above.
I was seeing John Morant's stories over the offseason. And I'm like, this guy sure drinks a lot.
He said this to me.
I said, I'm a little concerned about him. I know he's young, but dude, he goes hard. And then, I also was like, well, he does score 30 a game. Does it really matter? Like, whatever. It must not be that big of a deal. But apparently all this stuff is a big deal. And he could be facing a 50-game suspension.
Yeah, I think, I'm glad that he's taking time away to obviously get help one way or another, or take a second to reevaluate everything that he's doing in his life. But Zach Lowe podcast today was talking about the John Morant situation, and they were even talking about something as simple as like, hey, it's tough too because his dad's on the sideline, drinking and promoting that he's drinking every night in and night out. My only thing I would say to any of this, though, is that John Morant is a grown man at this point. So whether it is your father, whether it is a teammate, whether it's a friend, a partner, it doesn't matter. Like, you have a choice. And so him making the choice to step away, and almost being forced to, and to reevaluate, hopefully he can continue to try and make the right choice going forward.
Shams had something interesting to say yesterday. The fact that apparently the Grizzlies had a team meeting after this, and Steven Adams had some concerns.
I'm told, guys, that there was a players-only meeting recently where Steven Adams, their veteran center, he spoke out about how the team needs to show better discipline on the road, how they need to stay away from going out when they're on the road. This team is 12-20 on the road this year. They're stellar at home, but that's a poor road record for them. And I'm told those in the room, when Steven Adams spoke out, they knew exactly who he was directing this to. It was no one other than John Morant. And so clearly John Morant still went out in the early hours of Saturday. That video was posted with the gun, and there's questions. Was the gun his? Did he have a license? Was he traveling with the gun? Where did the gun come from? Was it a friend's? How many other weapons were there? Is it even legal to carry a weapon in the area that they were at? So there's a lot of questions that not only local authorities and also the league need answered.
Yeah, there's a lot to go over. Appreciate people in the chat too. Sean and Josue were saying that the meeting, again, apparently the players only meeting happened before this went down. Okay. So I messed that up. I didn't even hear that initially, so my bad. Yeah,
what
I don't know. I just heard players
which is even worse.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
No, it's worse that he's having the meeting and then he pulls out a gun after that meeting.
Because you know what, it's deeper. The guy's got some deeper issues he's dealing with right now. Now you just hope that he is being honest with himself and getting the help he needs, because the guy is too talented of a player. He's got such a bright future. Just get the help, dude. I mean, I've seen videos on social media today of him on like a private plane with like his family. I don't know when this was from, but he's got like multiple bottles of tequila and he's like chugging
like from the bottle.
From the bottle. And in this 2-minute video, it was half gone. I mean, it was. So he's got a problem. You don't drink like that. That's a serious issue.
That should hurt.
I know this sounds funny and you guys can make fun of it, but I've been exploring the sober curious life.
I hate when you say this. Just call, you're just like, I'm not drinking, non-alcohol.
No. Because I mean, I had a glass of wine the other day. But like
I hate that.
I've also dabbled in like unalcoholic or non-alcoholic wine and beer just to be like, hey, and mocktails. I'm like, what is this life about? And so I've like looked things up and following some things, a lot of people say when people are putting it out there all the time, like, believe them, when it's it's the same thing. Like when people show you who they are, believe that. And I think when someone is willing at this stage of their NBA career to have a photo posted out there or videos of him partying and posted with, drinking tequila bottles or whatever that was on the private plane, it's like, believe that there is something going on there when it comes to abusing alcohol.
Yeah. I want to quickly that huge shout out to Steven Adams, because it sounds like everybody on the team knows what's going on. And for him to have the cojones to really step up and talk to the leading scorer of the team, the face of the franchise, and really point the finger at him and say, hey man, like, no one else wants to say it, but you need to do better. That's huge for a guy who's, we all know Steven Adams. He's a household name, but Steven Adams is known, but he's not Ja Morant. He doesn't have signature shoes coming out. He's not one of the young faces of the NBA. Like, to me, that's just, I just want to big up Steven Adams for
he knows what it takes too, right? Like, he's been on winning teams. He understands how difficult it is to get to that next level. And, you don't want to see a young player make that type of mistake. And Ja Morant is supposed to be the face of that franchise. And if your face of the franchise is setting the tone by going out and getting blasted every single road game, and they're losing a lot on the road this year.
That's what I was going to say. If you're performing at a high level, there's always that little bit like, I don't like it, but we're still winning, or he's still performing. And then when it starts affecting the game or the team, that's when someone has to step up. And there's a problem there. And I don't know. I'm just glad that we're in this day and age too in the NBA. When there is a problem, we talk about it. I feel like for the most part, a lot of people haven't just been crapping on Ja Morant. You get the internet trolls no matter what the situation is, even if you're the nicest celebrity in the whole entire world. But for the most part, people are concerned. And I appreciate that we've evolved to humanizing these athletes more and more over the years.
Yeah.
What?
It's really tough for Memphis now.
Yeah, it is.
You got championship hopes, and now there's this uncertainty hanging over about Ja and when he's going to be back, and that's going to obviously impact things for them. Now all of a sudden the Kings are looking at that number 2 spot.
That's what I want to talk about.
Even if Phoenix goes up and tries to get that number 2 spot, the Kings may be able to just hang on to number 3.
Insane.
I'm okay with that.
We got to talk about all of that coming up next. It's Deuce and Mo with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
That's what's wild. It's like now
I gotta step out real quick.
I gotta step out.
Hey, YouTube chat. How you guys doing? What's up, Christian? Stephen Brown. What's up, dude? Young Cobe in the building. Luis, Trap, Hamburger Dad. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe.
Hamburger Dad.
So people are real creative.
Oh God. Really creative.
What's up, BMO? Enjoy that. Chewy. No, we are not talking about beam cream anymore.
Why not, dude? Why not? We talked about it last night, and people are just all about it.
It's
so is Chris Watkins.
Yeah.
See?
It's a potential sell. They can sell it in the arena for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Get
I
your
was trying
beam
to think
cream.
of like other. I've been trying to think of like other things that you can really. I think Matt Barnes did knock it out of the park with his.
The what?
His item.
Absolutely.
Real fast too.
Great.
Mark Stein is
Yeah.
Mark Stein is saying that he stated something incorrectly on today's podcast. Thanks to Jill and a couple others for tagging me in it. A firearm on team premises is indeed a violation of NBA rules and subjects the player to discipline, but there's no specific suspension length in the league bylaws. The suspension length is imposed at the commissioner's discretion. So
interesting. So that means
either way, I mean, it's still
it's not great.
a punish. It's still not great. Bringing a gun on the team plane, probably not the best
ideal.
idea if that's what went down.
Not.
So
so we don't have a front desk person
at the moment. Yeah.
Well,
There's a
I
meeting
talked to
right
her.
now, isn't there?
Okay.
I told her
to let someone in, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I.
Worst case, we can run down. I did talk to her before
Well,
the show.
we're broadcasting through the building right now. We can just shout it. Just
Are
keep
we?
saying, hey, if anyone, not during breaks, obviously, but
even
during the show, just say, hey, if anyone's listening out in the building.
If anybody's listening.
And honestly, Powerhouse Hobbs might just be able to rip off the door and walk in. It may not be an issue.
More than
all.
welcome to.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to look this guy up.
Oh, yeah, you do. He's got a
Powerhouse
Hobbs. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's 6'1", Chris. See, he's my
You're a
height.
liar.
He's listed at 6'1",
This boy,
270.
thick.
We'll see.
Where is he going to sit?
He's gonna take up the whole room.
I'm gonna go face to face with him.
Are you? I'll take a photo.
Just like I did Big E. I put Big. Remember
And
when
you didn't even want to meet him.
Yep,
I did not.
that's
when
true.
New Day was not Mage.
How-
Hey, no,
I had to convince you. I had to convince my friends.
But how crazy is
How
it
many
though
years ago?
when you think about New Day? Then like, there was not many people who wanted to take a picture with them. Then
we didn't even have to get in line. We just
we
all,
were the line.
Yeah.
We were the line.
That was great when we put up. I was at like
I
a
think I've heard
table.
those people. Those are the
New Day?
Bootios.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Shout out Ron Burton, who has a box of Bootios on his desk. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, I'm like, that's a.
We
that's a
met them
decision.
before they were big. Because
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Morgan, you're always getting cut off.
Oh yeah.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who set out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 Frankie D's. With the Kings win, they are now a half game out of the second seed in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight with the Grizz in LA playing the Lakers. The Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. Now back with Deuce and Mo.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
I was kind of hoping you weren't gonna make it.
Barely.
I was gonna scream.
I went no.
We are live.
I did go tinkle time, but I went no hands.
Oh
because,
my
hey,
God.
It's a great. No, it's smart because no hands. You don't have to wash your hands.
Yep.
Ooh, so I'll have to make up a song. Look, Ma, no hands to him peeing. This is great.
I love that. That is great.
Oh man, Deuce
Perfect.
Mason, Morgan Reagan, Chris Watkins hanging out. Of course, Chris has a new show right here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Chris and Co. airs daily Monday through Friday from 10 to 11. We were talking last segment about John Morant and the report from Mark Stein suggesting he could face a 50-game suspension. Mark Stein has clarified that now, saying that that is not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that he stated incorrectly, and a firearm on a team premises is indeed a violation of NBA rules and subject to the play. Where's
I had to take a call.
Jeez.
Morgan just had to take a call.
she just leave? Is it
Yeah.
because Powerhouse Hobbs is already here? I don't even know. We're supposed to have Powerhouse Hobbs coming up in a few minutes. Anyway, a fire time on team premises is indeed a violation of NBA rules and subjects the player to discipline, but there's no specific suspension length in the league bylaws. The suspension length is imposed at the commissioner's discretion.
What do you think? I was talking with Frankie about this as well yesterday, and he brought up in something that really made me think, like, if this would have been like DeMarcus Cousins, this is like not even a like he's just gone, like suspended probably for the remainder of the season, and no one's.
You think?
And I think so.
Huh. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe reputation factors in a
that I
bit,
think that's where.
but
it
I mean,
is.
I just think there's just so many things coming out about Ja recently that I don't think they would hold back.
I don't feel like I think it was like it's been talked about and reported all the things that were leading up to the incident, but I don't feel like it really carried with him as much as I feel like it might have with some other maybe lower profile guys. I think is more
Interesting.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see how they act now.
Right,
I mean, I'm wondering how fast they're going to wait
Yeah.
on this. I mean,
The
I think
initial
part of
2-game suspension too is strange, right? Kind of looking back, like why give them 2 games and then just kind of be like, oh, actually, indefinitely. Sorry.
I think they felt
Sorry
like they had to
about that.
act now. I felt like they were like, we got to
It
do
has to
something
be
right now.
right?
Did they state that it was a 2-game
Yes.
suspension?
Oh,
Okay.
he's
boy.
already in
my
the building.
goodness.
Oh.
Dude, this is awesome. Have a seat.
Yes,
Just
please.
okay.
Right
Oh my gosh,
We got
amazing.
Powerhouse Hobbs in studio already, man.
We're just
chilling. I
gonna talk
appreciate it.
hoops in front of.
I'm
Oh.
sorry? The Monster
Oh.
Powerhouse Hobbs. I'll get it right.
Get it
man.
right.
Come on, man.
We're gonna
Um,
talk hoops in front of you for a second
yeah.
until break.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what they do with Jatu and how they get to the point of, all right, when they make a decision on this, how long do they figure it out? But it impacts the Kings, right? The Kings are just a half game behind the Memphis Grizzlies right now.
That's what's wild about all of this now is that, I was talking to Deuce and I'm like, it's sad with everything, how and what's happening
Right.
with him. But basketball wise, this is fun. This is
ideal. Right?
I mean, this is great for the Kings.
Yeah.
This is just more padding. Whether they end up in the 2nd seed or not, it's just exciting that now there's more of a possibility.
Right.
Well, it's legit now. I mean, Memphis is going to drop. They're going to drop
Right.
now. It's
And-
just, it could drop tonight. Lakers play him tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
AD's been playing well.
And it's not just the jaw thing, too. I mean, they lost Brandon Clark, who's a big piece
Yep.
off their bench. And now, Dylan Brooks is on that game by game. If he gets a tech, he's missing the next game as well. Like, they really could miss a lot of key pieces down the stretch here when it matters most. And yeah, I mean, it is great for the Kings because, if the Lakers win tonight, sitting pretty.
So to start the season, I was like talking about play-in conversations for the Kings.
Yeah.
And then as we kept going, I'm like, holy crap, they're actually going to make the playoffs. And then no one could have told me that all of this was going to unravel in the beginning of the
0%
season.
chance.
Even when I thought, okay, Russ is going to be traded at some point in this season. When is that going to happen? At the trade deadline, whatever it is, it's going to make the Lakers better. Nothing made a huge impact except KD right now with the Suns. Even when you look at the Mavs, they're still terrible at defense, and they're still that same offensive identity where the ball just doesn't flow when Luka's on the floor.
Yeah, the teams that made all the moves, everyone was like panicking about. Hell, I was kind of like, oh my god, all these teams made moves. We're talking about Portland. Oh man, they got Thibault. The Clippers got Plumlee and Bones Highland and Eric Gordon, Russ. The Warriors get GP too. I mean, it's crazy that the Kings did stand pat, and it's like, okay, you know what? It's working for them right now. They've won 5 of 6 out of the break. Going back to last night's Kings game real fast too. We haven't talked about Davion Mitchell yet.
We haven't talked about a lot of guys.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Kevin Huerter, but Davion Mitchell, man, I thought he played a really good game. The last couple of times he's had the chance to start, he's played really well, and I like that last night Mike Brown gave him a lot of love.
Yeah, he did, and he really deserved it. I mean, it does feel like when he's able to get this kind of extended run, that's when he's been able to show his offensive game. And like, I think it's been tough for him in these short stints where it's like, again, he's not really having the ball in his hand too much. It's more of Malik or Domas has the ball in his hand when he's on the floor. And so last night he was able to kind of still do that, but he had his moment. He was able to, just by virtue of being on the floor more, get that kind of opportunity. And he's been really good, I think, with just general shot selection as well. Like, he's not forcing it in a game like last night where De'Aaron's not playing. It's like, all right, there's 25 points a game. That's just not here. Sounds like a great opportunity for me. Didn't seem like he at all was trying to get his and still was just working in the flow of everything.
He's not forcing it, but he's also not just being a spot up shooter, right? And I think that was something where we hated to see, like, where he's just beyond the arc, waiting for someone to drive and kick. He's creating like that 1-3 from deep where he took that major step back to make it a 3-point opportunity for him. So on top of that, not only was he knocking down his threes, but he's been so explosive with his handles, right? He's getting a guy to go one way, going down the lane the other. And I think his confidence is at a whole new level right now because Mike Brown has empowered him to do something else. But also with De'Aaron not being out there, he now is starting to understand we are in this part of the season and this is what I have to do to stay up and stay on the floor.
Here's what Mike Brown had to say after last night's game about Davion's performance.
And then, like I see, you take your hat off to Davion. Davion was really good tonight. 6 assists, 1 turnover. Obviously, extremely efficient from the floor. 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, and he made a couple of play calls to get guys in position throughout the course of the night, which were fantastic. He waved me off a couple of times and went to who he felt he should have gone to on the floor, and it was the right call every single time he did it. And so to see growth in that area tonight was special, because he's got a chance to be a special player in this league.
I think Brown saying that goes a long way.
100%. I think, I mean, Mike Brown is blunt. He will say what he believes. I mean, there's times like he's obviously trying not to say certain things about certain guys when it comes to playing time or whatever, but he's not going to say that unless he believes it.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to criticize Davion when you're somebody who sees him every single day. I mean, the guy is notorious for just how hard he works.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mike is just so proud to see him put that kind of performance together. I mean, we've all seen how Davion has kind of struggled, especially offensively throughout this season. So I'm sure Mike's just as happy as anybody to see Davion have the kind of game he had. And I'm sure even he knows that, Davion's capable of more than what he's shown at points this season.
Can that get him going off the bench? Because Fox comes back.
Yeah.
Back to De'Aaron,
I think it's tough, man. I think when you're just like, when you constantly know that you have to look over your shoulder of like, oh, is Fox about to check in? Is he at the scores table? And, he kind of gets these 4 to 6 minute runs, and that's kind of about it. And he maybe gets 2 of them, maybe. And, that's 12 minutes a game. It's just, he really just doesn't have the same opportunity that he obviously had last night.
And I was asking Deuce this last night. I was like, how does a guy that he hasn't been able to figure out how to be efficient in short amount of minutes, how does one become efficient in those short amount of minutes? Like, what do you practice? Is it a mental thing? Is it a mentality? Yeah. Is it a something you're doing at practice so like you're staying ready? Because it's not like he's not warming up before a game and not being ready. So I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, he needs to know that could be his role going forward, and he needs to be efficient.
Yeah, it could potentially be a mentality thing of maybe, just maybe being a little bit more selfish. But I think it also is, I mean, at the same time, it's a very delicate line to balance. You can't, because, what you really don't want is in your limited minutes to just kind of be forcing things. And then it's like, okay, we put him out there. We don't necessarily, and, it's also role as well. Like when he's out there, he's not the primary ball handler. He's not the primary facilitator. He just kind of has a different role. So I think the only way that I see at this moment, the way that this current team is constructed, I just kind of don't think that it's in his role.
All right, we got much more coming up next. We got to talk some more Kings, of course. I got to do this right.
Yep, do it right.
AEW star, the future TNT champion.
Wait, which thing was it?
The Monstar.
There we go.
Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be joining us in a bit. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of course.
A YouTube chat. We're still live. By the way, thanks for you came in early. I felt bad.
Dude.
So my grandparents, they raised us, and they're from the South. Like, I would have showed up here at 11:55.
Oh my God.
Teach my kids that.
Okay.
Love
this.
that. Yes.
You're a full-on Warriors fan, right? Or you're just from the Bay Area, just like,
I grew up on the Warriors games.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, my actual team is San Antonio Spurs.
Oh,
Wow.
I love that.
Why?
Okay.
My older brother was 14 years older than me.
Okay.
So my first jersey I got was a David Robinson jersey.
Oh, dude.
That's sick.
It's about like this big.
That guy was. I just remember.
Do you still have it?
I remember as a kid. I know we should have saved some of this for when you join us.
Right.
But as a kid, David Robinson, I was just like, this guy is so ripped. Dude.
Yeah.
He had.
Should have been a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm having my older son watch some of his footage and Duncan's footage.
Yeah. Your son's bigger than you, right?
17-year-old is 6'7".
Oh my goodness.
So I did some Warriors PR stuff. I did the live interview with
Yeah, in Bonte.
yeah.
I saw that.
I'm like 6'3",
almost 6'3" and 270 pounds, and this dude is just towering over me.
That's hilarious. Was it fun? Was it fun being on that on NBC Sport? Yeah. Oh, we also work for NBC Sports. So I was talking to my boss over there, and he was just like, "Yeah, Will Hobbs was great. He's not a wrestling fan, and yeah, dude. No, well,
Do you want to come on? Are you good waiting? Or are you chill?
Talk some?
Oh, dude.
Because I know. I was like.
No, you're good. Well,
I was like, we could talk some Western Conference.
Noon, but like, and then if you're cool, are you cool? All right, cool. Okay.
Oh,
hey, we're excited to talk to you because, like, I'm sure you do a lot of these interviews where they're not really like wrestling fans. We're wrestling fans. Yeah. Oh yeah. We were at Grand Slam. Went to Grand Slam. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, I'm sorry. You're what?
Yes. At Grand Slam.
We were there.
Yeah, we were like physically there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were actually sitting ringside.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, it's Grand Slam. I was like, we happen to be in New York for NBA meetings. And I was like, Grand Slams, we're going. And we're like, let's go. We have to go. We're paying the money.
Because AEW never came to the West Coast.
I'll be there tomorrow night.
Yeah, he will. I won't be. I know. I know. It's well, there's NBA people coming into town because TNT. There's a TNT game the next night.
She had plans.
I know. I know. No, and trust me, like we bought tickets in New York because we're like, they're never coming to the West Coast. So look at that commitment right there. And I'm a cash too. I consider myself a cash, you know?
Good.
Dude. Good. Yes. I like to hear that.
And YouTube chat, I know it's during the break. We're talking to Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW. He's going to be joining us at the top of the hour. Hanging out with him.
We'll be breaking here at 55. So
yeah, we'll just bring you in after.
You get to hear.
Jamar says Deuce looks like he has pure enjoyment on his face. Yeah, because I grew up a wrestling fan. Like, just knowing about your background too. Like, you grew up watching wrestling because your grandparents. I know we'll talk about this, but like I was obsessed as a kid too, and it was.
Which was funny. So my grandparents moved from a small town in Mississippi to San Francisco.
Wow.
They lived right across the street from the Cow Palace.
Dude.
Liquor store, and that liquor store is still there.
No.
The apartment is still there. So I stood outside for maybe like 10 minutes.
I was gonna say that must have been surreal this week.
Stop, you guys.
All
Save
right,
it. Save it.
Sorry.
And you probably already know too, but Chris behind you is also these two. These two are the biggest wrestling fans.
But when I told Chris you're coming in, he's kind of shy, but dude, he's a huge fan of yours, dude. He is a huge fan. He's gonna be.
He can't hear you.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce Mo on Sactown Sports.
Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Chris Watkins talking about this Kings win last night. Coming up at the top, Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW. AEW making their first appearance in Sacramento. It's going to be a fun one. Sacramento's a great wrestling town. I'm telling you, it's great. It's good to have AEW on the West Coast for once. I had to go all the way back. We went back east to watch it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the commitment was there.
So we'll talk to him. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. One guy we didn't talk about yet.
Who?
Can we give some love to Trey Lyles?
I love it. You know what's funny? He says Trey Lyles, but he's not even talking about the guy that had the trip dub last night.
That's what I thought he was going to say. I really was like, can we give credit to the guy who had a triple-double?
He does it all the time.
No, that's exactly what I said, too. I was like,
Sabonis did what he's supposed to do. A triple-double.
Like Mike Brown.
No, he's great.
Yes.
He's great. But no, I tend to give love to the people that, like, show me something
for
different.
Sure.
And Trey Lyles coming in. When they traded for him, I'm sorry, they didn't really. He was a part of a trade they made. I don't think anyone thought, okay, he's going to be part of a potential playoff rotation for the Sacramento Kings. That's kind of insane that we're talking about that. And he came into camp in shape.
Yeah.
Last night, dude, he was doing everything. He's hitting threes. He's dunking. Give him the ball on the low block. double team comes. He's dropping dimes to Metu. It was beautiful.
Yeah. How about that buzzer beater too? Was that at the end of the third?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice too. I talked a little bit about Trey on my show, and I'm trying not to like get too excited about him, but like I really love Trey Lyles' game a lot. Like he just does a little bit of everything, and like especially when his 3-point shot is falling down, it just feels like the world is his oyster, because then he can go into his little pump fake game, and then you don't know what he's gonna do. He can blow by you. That's how he got that and one.
I think it's deceptive sometimes. I think people look at him and go, he can't blow by me, and he does. I was telling Morgan last night, he was defending Ingram. And I thought, if you would have told me that before the game, I'm like, I don't know about that. Dude, he's what Morgan's mentioned multiple times is he's a really good team defender, help defender.
And why? Because he's so damn strong, right? He has so much strength, you guys. So you talk about the way that he blows by guys. I mean, he can go through guys too, right? He can go into their chest, go through them. You talk about the way that he moves laterally. It's like he's put the work into his body to be able to stay out there, stay in shape, stay with so many different guys. And that small ball 5 position for him, it's really encouraging considering what the Kings have with their depth at the big.
Yeah, give me more of Trey Lyles at the backup 5. I just think he's a perfect fit there. He's still able, again, like the rim protection necessarily might not be there if he's in that as your small ball 5, but I just think what he brings on the offensive end, his ability to stretch the floor and still also be a really, really good rebounder as well. Like you're really not losing a lot with him at the 5.
I think the other thing to mention too, although the rim protection may not be there with him, he's really good as that low man when he's got to come over. He seems like he's in the right spots on defensive rotations. He uses his size to his advantage. He gets big.
I think he's also played that position probably for his entire life, right? He's probably always kind of been like that bigger, stockier guy who's probably always been that power forward who's kind of more of a traditional 4.
I think someone was asking him about that after the game about playing small ball 5. He's like, I've been a center like my whole life. Because I played it a little bit last year. Like, I'm very comfortable in that. I can play a couple positions, but he's even keeled. He's tough. He's one of those guys that doesn't get talked about a lot in Sacramento, right? Because we're always focused on Fox and Sabonis and Huerter.
Triple doubles.
Like Malik Monk is our 6th man of the year candidate, rightfully so. He's 45 points. The amount of times he's dropped 30 and high point totals. But to me, the most consistent, reliable guy on a night-to-night basis is Trey Lyles. I think you can kind of always pencil Trey in for at least
you got to keep
8 and 4. You
got to keep him too. He's a free agent after this year.
Thing, I know.
And
his dollar figure will be interesting.
Yeah, because he makes like 3 this year, and he is one of those guys that is crucial to a winning team.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only is he crucial to a winning team, you guys. You look at a team that is trying to get into the postseason. Look at the adjustments made in the postseason. Look at the adjustments that are made later on in this season. We saw Clippers go small ball the other day. I mean, teams make those adjustments.
Go to a zone yesterday.
Yeah, dude. It's like it depends on the matchup, and you don't want to have to play your bigs off the court and not have an answer for it. And the Kings have an answer if a team were to pull that kind of small ball strategy on them.
Yeah, although you don't want Sabonis to be played off the floor.
No, but
Ideally
even if like he got in foul trouble, like there's just different things that you still can depend. Even though Trey Lyles doesn't have the length necessarily, he has the strength. He has the discipline to stay vertical. He's a solid dude.
Did you hear Zach Lowe's comments today?
No, I didn't.
Let me give you. I want to just get your
I like
reaction.
this. I like
great.
this.
So
I love
Zach Lowe, one of the best in the business on the podcast, was talking about on his podcast. The Low Post was talking about the Sacramento Kings.
The Kings are number 1 by a lot in points.
There you go.
Points per possession. 25th on defense, and there's still reason to think that some of their defense is just bad luck because they don't foul. They get every defensive rebound. They force a decent amount of turnovers. They're allowing a lot of mid-range shots. Teams are just making everything from everywhere against them. Now, I think part of that is because they have no rim defense. They're getting smoked at the rim, just like they did last year. Some of it with the mid-range jumpers and the threes, they might be a little bit better than 25th on defense. They're not going away, man. They're one wing away from being truly, truly interesting to me as like a potential contender. Like I just think point guard, center, offensively, they are massively skilled with Fox.
They are
Sabonis.
unbelievable. Yeah, and look, I have personally acknowledged to both Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox that my harsh criticism of what at the time I called the Tyrese Halliburton trade was off. And Tyrese Halliburton is exactly who I thought he was, which is one of the rising stars in the NBA. But Sabonis is really, really, really good.
And I think they're going to be a tough out in the play. Everyone is just penning them in as the loser of the 3-6 series. I think they're going to be a tough out.
So there is Zach Lowe, Tim McMahon from ESPN talking about the Kings, saying they're one wing away from potentially being a contender. Who's that wing? Is it on the roster? Is he already on the roster? Keegan Murray.
Oh, I see. You think one wing away from stepping up or one wing away from being a tweak in the offseason.
That's definitely interesting. First off, I want to say that if I ever don't have any defensive analysis, I'm always just going to fall back on. I think they just got they're unlucky. They're just unlucky. Yeah, they just made shots, and I think that they're just unlucky. That's great. The wing thing is super interesting. I don't disagree. Definitely, I've definitely always been a fan of having I think the small forward position is the most important in basketball in terms of if you have an elite small forward, you're probably going to be one of the better teams in the league. Look at, if you have a Paul George, Kawhi, LeBron, those kind of guys. But I definitely think I agree. If the Kings could get a 6'7", 6'8" guy who can ball handle, who can shoot, who can, just do multiple things. Obviously, if they can defend as well, it does feel like that definitely takes this team to a different level. I don't know if Keegan Murray's that guy, but I think
he's not yet.
I think also, though, even if he is, I think you can definitely benefit from having multiple of
Sasha Vezenkov, maybe.
Vezenkov.
So it's not the only thing Zach Lowe said, because you're talking about contender, that's down the road. What about this year, Zach Lowe?
What if it shakes out that they hold on to 3 or move up to 2, whatever it ends up being? They draw Minnesota in the first round or Dallas in the first round, a team that everyone thinks, I think Dallas has more upside than Sacramento because of Luka and the Luka Kyrie combination, but there's really nothing. They're 2-5. We're going to talk about them in a second. They're 2-5 together. There's nothing that really suggests that they should be favorites over the Kings. Minnesota should not be favorites over the Kings. We'll see when Cat comes back. But that's a winnable series. Okay, let's say they win that series. Let's say they get the draw, breaks for them, they win. Then it's 2-3 against the Grizzlies with no Brandon Clark, and let's even assume Jobs back.
Or you might be looking at one of those teams in the second round instead. Because look, I'm not going to sit here and the Grizzlies. Obviously, we've just talked about a lot. There's more question marks around the Grizzlies than any team that's going to have a home court advantage in the first round.
I'm just saying. The King. There is a semi-reasonable world where we wake up and the Kings are in the conference finals. I wouldn't pick it. It's going to depend a lot about who their first round opponent is out of these teams. Because if it's Clippers, Warriors, whatever, I think they're in for an uphill battle. But if it breaks Kings, for them, they're good.
Has Zach Lowe been kidnapped? I cannot believe that is Zach Lowe.
That's Zach Lowe.
The basketball mind. Sorry, Deuce. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The national basketball mind.
Basketball mind. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot to dissect, right? That's crazy.
That's a lot.
We're going to talk a lot about it coming up on the show today. But I was curious to get your instant reaction. That's exactly what I expected. Shocked.
That's a lot. I mean, and I don't disagree with much of anything that he said. I think he's completely right in saying, if the Kings match up, I don't know about the Timberwolves do make me nervous. I think that they're a different team with Mike Conley, especially in the playoffs. But I mean, if you go against Dallas, I'll take that matchup every day of the week. I think the Kings they're pretty much the same team, right? They're both bad defenses, good offenses, but the Kings have a better offense. I think I'm willing to take the risk that, sure, maybe Luka's the best player, but again, maybe De'Aaron could be number 2, Domas could be 4, and the rest of the starting lineup can be right after that. It feels like that would probably be the Kings' best matchup.
Well, Chris, appreciate you hanging out with us again. We'll do this again tomorrow. You're going to be live 10 to 11, Chris and Co. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm actually going to have Co on with me tomorrow. So I believe Frankie, if he's feeling better tomorrow, will be joining me.
Frankie the fraud.
All right, coming up next, we switch gears. I'm super excited about this. AEW coming to town for Dynamite and Rampage on Wednesday. And how about Powerhouse Hobbs in the building? He is going to be fighting for the TNT Championship. We'll talk to him about his journey to AEW. It's a great story. Can't wait to talk to him. It's coming up next on Sactown Sports. Thanks, Chris.
Is your mic off really quick?
Yeah, sure. You're scared, like no camera.
Star telling me no camera. Okay. Please, please no. Is that for him?
Yeah.
Oh, better headphones. Better headphones.
Upgrade.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna fix this. Thank you.
Chris, are you nervous right now? Or just...
Oh.
He was like shaking.
That's so cute.
There's no ring.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like being early and everything. It's working around athletes. It's like usually everyone's late or just calling in late.
Yeah,
so
I
appreciate
tell
it.
people all this shit can be taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why isn't this working?
So you've wrestled in Sacramento then, huh?
I used to travel, going through here, do shows here, go through here, going to Reno, getting stuck in a blizzard.
Oh yeah, dude.
I opened. It was the second show in the Golden One Center because I think they had a concert before it opened, and then WWE was there. So I did extra work with WWE at this building.
What were you doing? Was it like a tryout thing in Sacramento, or was it?
It's like where they bring all the local talent in. Like I was John Moxley's guy in the gas mask.
Oh, I was there for that. That was so weird.
Yeah, Mox remembered me when I got to AEW, because I was getting yelled at because the mask was so hot, like you couldn't see through it. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna lift this up, and I took a super kick from Seth Rollins, like, don't have your mask come off, and I do this, my mask flies off live on TV. Then they tried yelling at me, and I'm like, do you really want to yell at me? And I'm like,
That's so weird, dude. Yeah, I was there for that one. That was such a weird angle.
I think I was there.
Yeah, that was such a weird.
Yeah. Oh wow,
Yeah.
the things that you guys experience, but then I mean, yeah, I want to save it because just the journey, it's so cool. Some of these stories that we get from you guys and just like seeing what you have to go through.
Yeah, we had Eddie Kingston on last week on video. Yeah,
we did our WWE trial together.
That's right. I remember hearing an interview
met.
about that. Oh, you guys met there? That's wow.
Yeah.
We gave him so much love, and we're like, we know you don't love, and he's like, I can't take it. It was cute.
Are you about to do an update, Chris? Okay, a minute. Okay, he'll do an update, and then we're gonna be like live.
Like a little sports update. But we are live on the YouTube chat. So what's up, YouTube? Yeah, wow. Everyone's love it. Talking to each other. Good job, everyone.
I'm only supposed to hear out of one ear.
Oh, is it only one ear?
Let me see.
That's weird.
Let me try this. Try it now.
Still.
Just one ear. It's fine.
Okay.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Dude,
It's my
was
good
this
ear.
both ears? Was this one working all right for these?
I don't remember.
Okay, if you can try those too if you want, if that's better.
Yeah. Go back and try
This place.
this. Hey, you're on there.
Test. Still same?
No, we'll go back.
Okay. All right.
All good. From the projects. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be. We are live. Not yet. Good job, Chris. By the way, it gets freezing cold and hot in here, so sorry.
Suck it up.
Okay.
Suck it up.
Oh, good.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who sat out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. And Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. With the Kings' win, they are now a half game behind the Memphis Grizzlies in second in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight. If the Lakers beat the Grizz, Kings and Grizz will both have 38 wins and 26 losses. Now back to Deuce and Mo with our guest, Powerhouse Hobbs.
Let's go. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, and you guys know I'm a wrestling nerd.
Can you do the snarl?
Oh,
I don't know. I
put you on
can't.
blast. Try.
the snarl.
It's just so
he can't
over-
even whistle, dude.
I can't do it. I can't whistle. I can't snap.
He can't snap.
I can't snap. Super excited to be joined in studio because AEW is coming to Sacramento tomorrow night, Golden One Center for Dynamite's Powerhouse Hobbs in studio with us. He's got a big match. He's got to win the TNT Championship tomorrow night.
Huge match
against War Puppy or War Dog.
Oh,
This guy, I mean,
yeah,
it's cool. It's like
He
a
ain't
temper.
nothing.
He's just holding the belt for Powerhouse
For
Hobbs.
3 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
72 hours.
It's cool. He got his
Woo!
moment on pay-per-view. I mean, that's cool.
I had my moment too.
Yeah.
Did you see my suite?
Yes. Your suite was nice up there, man.
It was.
Yeah, you got a nice view at Chase Center. Appreciate you joining us in studio, man. You've been hanging out. You got here super early.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm excited.
Dude, what a journey for you, man.
Yeah.
Bay Area. And I imagine this weekend had to have been a lot for you because we were just talking a little bit ago. You grew up right near the Cow Palace.
Mhm.
And then here you are performing at the Cow Palace. Like,
Yes.
dude, was that surreal?
It's so much history in my family with the Cow Palace, just from my grandparents. I think it was 1961 or 62. They moved from a small town in Mississippi, which is like Jasper County, Holliburg, Mississippi, right? So they moved. They took a Greyhound bus all the way to San Francisco.
Wow.
Found an apartment above a liquor store, which is still there. And I heard stories about Ray Stevens, Pepper Gomez, The Rock's grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, Kenji Shibuya, the Great Mephisto. Wrestling was always in my household. They even saw Frank Sinatra, Elvis, the Jackson 5. They told me a story about Marvin Gaye stopping a riot at the Cow Palace. So it's
Dude.
And then when I was younger, just going to shows constantly every time it was in town.
So your grandparents got you into wrestling. It's
Well, it started with my grandparents and went to my dad, my cousins, my aunts, and uncles.
Okay.
And by the time I popped up,
wow.
it was already on. So
It's really, I love hearing. Okay, so I always tell people this on air, like I am a wrestling fan. I always consider myself a cash just because like I feel like hardcore, they understand every single indie guy out there, every single, every single, yes. And that's why I don't want to ever disrespect, wrestling fans when they ask me a question, I don't know something. So I say, hey, I'm a cash, don't ask me. But I know with these two, Chris and Deuce, like huge wrestling fans. And I know for Deuce, it was, really his grandparents and his family that helped him get into wrestling growing up, and hearing what it had done for him as a child and his confidence was really cool to hear. What did wrestling do for you as a young guy?
For me, it was just about with my family. It was just about bonding, because at times there was, I think maybe 9, 10, or 11 of us in a 2-bedroom house. So that was our thing growing up. Wrestling, Saturdays, Mondays, Thursday, Friday, whenever it was on, we would all watch. We all go in the living room or go just all huddle up in my grandparents' room.
Wow.
And watch it. So for me personally, a lot of my friends grew up loving football, basketball, baseball, soccer. I love those sports, but I knew at a young age I wanted to be a wrestler. And there were times I got made fun of it or got beat up for it. But, you know, look at me now.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I wouldn't mess
close
with you.
to 270 pounds. So it's,
You're a big dude.
but I just knew at a young age that this is what I wanted to do. For me personally, when I felt that I was being picked on, whatever, I would sometimes walk down the hallway humming Stone Cold Steve Austin's music in my head, you know?
Hell yeah.
You know,
dude.
so it's a big part of my life.
Yeah, it was weird for me growing up. Like, I don't know what it was. My dad was pretty much in prison most of my life, and wrestling was just like, these guys were like heroes to me.
Mhm.
Like, it was just these like male figures for me.
Yeah.
They looked up to, and you just saw how confident they were. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously how ripped they were when they were on the mic.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to be that. I want to grab this mic and talk. You know, it's just so cool. And it's weird how, you know, as a kid, you're super into it. I kind of went away for a little bit in high school, then came back, and you're like, here I am as this adult guy, and I'm just like, I love what it's about. You know what I mean? I just love the storylines, how much all of you guys put into it, just from the work ethic to respecting the craft. It's just an amazing business.
It is, and it's one of the things I don't think a lot of fans out there or a lot of people who are not fond of wrestling appreciate it. Because I mean, I tell you, all of us wake up every morning in some type of pain, and you just got to deal with it. And it's just about being in front of a crowd and telling a story and having people look up to you, kids. Like whenever I go to my barbershop in Hayward, or whenever I'm walking around in the hood, people come up to me. I love it. Like if they tell me you're doing it for us, I absolutely love it.
Okay. What was one of the things that kept you going when you had maybe doubters, or even, I don't know, were there ever family members that even were like, hey, maybe you should try this instead? What kept you going through? Because that's difficult, even when you have doubters of loved ones, people that love you, that just are like, but we want you to succeed.
My own father didn't want me to wrestle, you know, so, and it was just like, man, you're too small to do that. And I'm looking at him now, and I'm like, what? So, you know, you want to brag about me now, but that's a different story for a different time. But I've had a lot of family members, friends, coworkers doubt me. So it's I like to say I've been doubted at a young age, so I'm used to it.
But what kept you going? Because I mean, it's not like the pay is great when you're
just knowing I would make it.
Yeah,
I did listen to some people and have those doubts in my mind, but I'm like, well, I'm good at what I do, and it eventually will pay off. And I have 3 children that look up to me, so it's like, do I really want to quit? Do I really want them to see their dad, you know, being a quitter? I'm like, no. We don't do that.
You got better.
We don't do that. You have to. We don't do that. Where I'm from, in East Palo Alto, we don't do that. Even when I'm like was going back and forth East Palo Alto, Oakland, like we don't quit. You know, I think Californians have a different type of swag than other people. Don't get me wrong about people in other states or other cities, but you know, I rep where I'm from, and I just think we have a different ability.
When you were growing up, who were the wrestlers that you like connected with? You mentioned Stone Cold. Were there other guys that you really just connected with when you watched?
Yeah, I loved Harlem Heat growing up. I loved Ron Simmons. I loved The Rock. I loved Mr. Perfect. I loved Ravish and Rick Rude.
Mr. Perfect, man. I met Mr. Perfect at a WWF show a long time ago. It was at Arco Arena, and he was doing like an autograph signing. I was 5 years old. Yeah, dude. And he was signing autographs. I'll never forget it because he shook my hand. I was 5 years old. He squeezed my hand so hard. I'll never forget it.
He was setting you up, man. You got a firm handshake means a lot. You can read a lot.
Yeah, dude. He was like, I'm like, God damn. Okay, Mr. Perfect.
I'm gonna put him on blast. I'm gonna put Daddy Ass
on blast
because we have a photo of Billy Gunn holding me when I was about 4 years old at the Cow Palace.
No,
I still have to show him this picture, but it's just, man,
that is amazing.
It's crazy.
I mean, his resurgence has been pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know what it is about that man, that he just like gets better with time.
Well, how wild is that, right? When you do, because I remember when I first was really getting back into wrestling, even in 2012, and then seeing some of the older wrestlers get back out there. And then in AEW too, it was the same thing. I was judging hard because I was like, no, let these young guys find their path. Like put them above. But I understand the veteran presence and what it can do.
I was taught as a young child, you got to shut up and listen. And obviously they have been where I want to go.
Yeah.
Like there's a pay-per-view at the Cow Palace in 98. You know, my grandma got tickets and for us, and we went all the way from the top down by the barricade, down the walkway. And I slapped Chris Jericho and he yelled at me, shut up. And I'm, you know, so it's like, man, I'm learning from this dude. He's helping me out, you know, and I work with him. You know, I'll text him and he respond back. I'm like, smile on my face, like, damn, okay. So,
dude, yeah. And talk about a guy that's seen literally everything,
done
everything, man. And like his evolution. I mean, there were times I remember when he came back to WWE before he started, like kind of connected with Kevin Owens. I was like, God, I'm just kind of tired of Jericho. But then right when you get tired of him, he flips into something else. And you're like, oh my, he just continues to evolve.
He has that
game.
ability, man. He's great.
Damn, man. Yeah. So, yeah, you mentioned Farouk, The Rock, Nation of Domination.
Man, they got me in trouble. Nation and DX as a kid.
At school?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean, he was saying the same thing, like what he would used to go around school as like a
Everyone
sixth
did
grader
that,
and do it.
We had our own little cliques in school.
Oh my God.
Well, let's meet in the bathroom and duke it out. And it's like, okay. So it was, yeah. I've been suspended enough because of wrestling.
Yeah, but look how much joy it's brought you. Chris, sorry, you're over here want to talk too. My bad, Chris.
Oh, well, I mean, it's great that
talk to me, baby.
Yeah. You were wrestling all up around Northern California, and I gotta say, it was so dope seeing you win the ladder match. I
appreciate
oh
that.
man, he did it. Is it one of those things of just like, how awesome is this? Like, you were probably wrestling in front of 20, 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
I've wrestled in front of 5 people.
5 people. And now, like, you did some stuff in like Yuba City and stuff like that.
That drive, Yuba City, Woodland,
and then you're lifting the brass ring over there. That was so dope.
It was. That's definitely a moment that I'll remember forever.
What's great? I was telling my friend when I went to the show on Sunday, is the 2 biggest pops were the Acclaimed, which are like the biggest thing ever. And then when everyone saw you in your suite, like, yeah, let's go.
It's the day, baby. I'm telling you, man.
Why don't you bring the ring in, man? I thought you were going to bring the brass ring in. That'd be dope.
So did you watch the media scrum?
I didn't see yours after
I was there.
No, I know.
So,
I heard you went. Yeah, he was actually there.
Did you see it?
You came in.
Yeah, I had a question. I actually had 2 questions for Warlow. I didn't get an answer, so I left him a gift.
Ooh.
This
interesting.
This brass ring.
Man. All right.
Okay.
I no longer need it.
Damn.
Tomorrow night.
Damn, I'm so
Taking
excited.
was mine.
I love it.
Okay, really. You guys, Chris just talking about, wrestling in front of 5 people, 30 people, and then like where you're at now. This is kind of geared toward actually Chris and Deuce.
Yeah.
When you guys see wrestlers like Will Hobbs and you see where they started to where they're at, is there something even more special about watching them succeed?
Oh, I think when you see the growth, like I remember when you first showed up on Dynamite, and like I didn't know who you were, and that was during the pandemic, right? That was
a great time.
Yeah, but I mean, they put you over on the broadcast that night. I was like, oh, this guy is a freak, and like. So to see where you've come from that, and it's ups and downs, of course, with anything, but to see where you are now, it is cool. It's good because it feels like we're invested in your journey. And I think fans connect with that, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know that you wrestled at SPW here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
My
man knows his research, his history.
It's even better because like we saw you. Like, this is our guy making it to the big league.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I don't know how many times I wrestled for SPW out here. It was,
and I don't think people realize like how good of an indie scene like Northern California has.
Yeah, a lot.
AEW, SPW, Hood Slam is like huge now.
Yeah,
a lot of people have been to the Bay Area, been through the Bay Area at a time. There's a thing called the King of Indies. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Oh yeah,
early 2000s. And I work with some of those guys that were in that big show. So
Dude, it's wild. It's crazy too to just see the evolution of wrestling too, and now we're to the point where like all elite wrestling is here, and it's legit, man.
It's taking over, man. It's a different feel, different vibe. Man. Anyone coming out to the show tonight or tomorrow night, excuse me, is gonna see what we do.
It reignited my passion for wrestling, to be honest.
Right.
Like, just see, it became like must watch again, you know, and it's just been cool to see new faces like yourself. And, you know, even established names do different things and get more opportunity. And it's cool. I mean, I think the one thing it'd be nice to get more hours for all you guys to be able to show off what you can do. But yeah, dude, it is. But it is so fun.
I hear people complain about that and talk about that. But even if you got a minute, you got to take advantage of it every single time you're on TV.
Yeah.
You know, it's like anyone that's playing football or any type of sport, you make the most of your minutes.
Yeah.
You can go 100% and make the most of it.
Does that cause a lot of pressure? Like on yourself?
No, I don't think so. It's just whatever I get, I have to make the most of it. I know it.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I don't know how to put it, but you got to make the most of it. It's like, okay, here's a minute, go do something.
I mean, you're that's what, for anyone that is.
We're professionals,
right?
So you gotta be on.
And it's a live performance, and that's the thing I always tell people that don't understand wrestling. I go, it's like going to a Broadway play, except without singing for the most part. You know, there's
sometimes,
I know that's what I'm saying. There's these are athletes doing a live, sometimes improv, you know, kind of felt out performance on the mic. You're hearing people talk while you're seeing action going on, top rope, jumping off flips, throwing people down. And it's like, I can't imagine what that can feel like, but also like you're saying, in those minutes that you have to perform at a high level and messing up, you know, and now with the cameras that we have watching at home, it's like you see everything.
You see everything. That's why only a select few do what we do. You know, when I started training, there were 25 people in my class, and it trickled down to 2.
Whoa!
So this ain't for everybody.
Is that person still in wrestling, or?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
who is it?
Great question.
He's still on the local scene.
Okay.
Jack Banning.
Okay.
Drugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I didn't know what Hood Slam was years ago. This must have been like what, Chris, like 6 years ago. It's been a while, and someone told me about going to this show, and I was like, "What the hell did I walk into?" Drugs Bunny. I'll never forget Drugs Bunny, dude.
One of the greatest things that experience for me, like with indie wrestling, I gained even a new appreciation for wrestling as a whole, because I had been to, you know, some big shows. I've sat in some pretty great seats, and then just standing up at a little venue watching these people perform so intimately. It's special.
Yeah, it is. So you said you want to be a wrestler at a young age. You just knew, but it's one thing to like want to. I wanted to be at one point. All right. I mean, now I'm here talking on a radio show, but
which you love.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
No. You got a great partner right here.
We do a lot of things together. We do TV together. We podcast together. So we have so many different
I spend way too much time with her. All right.
Yeah.
It's
true.
No, in all seriousness. So like, it's one thing to like want to do it, but then you have to go do it. When did you start training? When were you like, all right, now, how does that even start? How does someone go, all right, I want to be a wrestler?
So there was, you guys remember, you ever see the movie Beyond the Mat?
Yes, I have.
No.
So I trained at APW.
Okay.
Do you remember the scene where the fan had spit on the wrestler and the wrestler was trying to throw him off the balcony?
Yes.
God, I haven't seen it in years. It's That's Chris, how many times do you watch Beyond the Mat? Be honest.
Probably 15 to 20 times.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's where I trained. Learning how to put the ring together. Going to shows, setting up the rings, the chairs, lighting. Man, breaking everything down, loading up a truck, driving 8, 9, 10 hours to a show, and not even wrestling, not even getting a thank you. This is paying your dues, you know.
And then you have to go still train like during the week.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, you still got to go train.
What a
busting your ass.
So then what's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself since being with AEW?
That I'm patient.
Mm.
That I actually love what I do. This is like
I love that.
kind of I've become obsessed with this.
Oh.
And just knowing my ability, knowing how I can perform, knowing what I can do to make people boo me, cheer me. So I've learned a whole lot about myself.
Do you watch a lot of other like old matches?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because
yes.
I don't know how you feel. Wrestling business is so weird, so I always am careful with who I bring up. But I'm a big FTR fan. Chris doesn't like FTR. I like FTR.
Hey.
I like FTR, but they're so obsessed with Bret Hart. I mean, they talk about him all the time, but they study a lot. They're always watching old stuff.
There's guys that a lot of our vets that I hit up. Like Dean Malenko, Billy Gunn, Chris Jericho, Arn Anderson. A lot of our agents I hit up. Pat Buck, Sanjay Dutt. I asked these guys for advice. Like, what should I do? What should I be looking for? How can I switch this? How can I change that? So it's. I have so much. I have everything I need in the palm of my hand, and it's up to me just to capitalize on it. Because I'm not satisfied where I am.
Wow.
I'm not. Like, my goal for me is to become the first African-American world champion in AEW. That's a goal I've had since the day I inked my name on that piece of paper. I've dreamt about it as a kid, being a world champion, and I have people looking up to me,
yes,
and it's something that I want to accomplish, and I have to get better. I have to do it for me. I have to do it for my family, so it's something that I've been becoming obsessed with.
Why is that so important to you?
Because it's my dream. I've had signings where people have came up to me and told me how much I motivate them, what I've done for them. And I'm like, me? I did that for you.
And representation matters.
Yeah. And I love it. Like, I go to the hood constantly. I stay there, and just having not only African Americans, come up to me, all type of ethnicity and races come up to me and tell you, thank you. This is what you've done for me. And all last week when we were in San Francisco, I had people telling me, thank you for repping the Bay.
Dude, that's gotta make you emotional.
That meant so much to me. I'm like, me from a little 2 square mile city in East Palo Alto.
Yeah.
That man. So.
See, and that's why it's so cool too that AEW's coming over to the West Coast.
Especially Tony Khan. Tony Khan knows his wrestling history.
Yeah.
Like, I can ask him something, he can give me the date,
Damn.
wherever the location was.
He's got
and he knows about the Cow Palace. Like, we've had conversations. And the fact that this guy gave me a chance when no other company would, it's my duty not only to not let down myself, but not let him down, because he's put me in some high profile spots.
Yeah.
And I'm a baseball fan. I'm not going to curse, but I knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
So I keep telling him, man, give me more.
Oh,
I love that, dude. We need to take a break on the radio side.
Yeah.
Do you want to hang out for a little bit longer? Do you need to go? Yeah. All right. We're hanging out with Powerhouse Hobbs, AEW coming to Sacramento tomorrow night. I can't wait for Chris is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Morgan's not.
New TNT champ.
The new TNT champ. I'm telling you right now, it's not a prediction, right?
It's
in the book of Hobbs. It's already written.
It's done.
It's written.
It's done.
Let's go.
We'll talk more with Powerhouse Hobbs coming up next. Deuce Mo on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. What were you?
No, I was just going.
Just
and so we stay. So right now we're live on the YouTube chat. Just FYI.
Got it.
Just FYI.
Got it. We're live.
Dude, yeah, it's really cool to see your story and your passion for
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's especially in our business too. Like, you want people that are passionate and in it for the right reasons. There's a lot of times that people get into it for the wrong reasons. They want to be famous, or it's like, no, you gotta love it. You gotta be obsessed.
You have to.
With it.
The fame will come if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll come.
And that's why, like, you talking about being obsessed with it though, and like going back and watching things. It's funny because we're definitely the same way in our business of it doesn't matter if it's watching competitors, if you want to call it that, podcasts, or just even local news and seeing how like media and seeing how they transition in and out of things and the story that they cover first.
Dude, wrestling's helped us like in promotion.
100%.
You should see some of the stuff we do on our like podcasts and stuff.
Ridiculous.
It's we do a lot of stupid things that's wrestling related. Well, I do a lot of stupid things. And
I love
you gotta
it.
promote yourself.
You have to.
try.
Nobody else is going to do it for you.
Right.
Nobody else. Nobody makes me get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. Nobody.
Yeah.
No one makes me sit down and watch footage. I have to do it. So
When you watch footage, are you like breaking yourself down like an athlete, or are you more, or what about on mic stuff? Are you ever just?
I do. I watch a lot of that. My vignettes that I had about the Book of Hobbs and what that Chris Jericho and Don Callis produced that. We know how great Jericho is on the
Don
mic.
Callis.
Don Callis is great on the mic too.
They're both.
God.
And the fact that they actually, they came out to Oakland with me and we filmed that. Like that was at the actual barbershop I went to. That was at the actual porch where I got shot. My brother got killed. It was all that was.
Dude, so that made it even. That's where you could feel the emotion. Out of it
all
too.
that
like
was all real.
Yeah,
We went to those spots.
Whoa, and they came with you for that.
Yeah. All that was at the actual spots. The alley where the guys are shooting dice and playing. Those were my boys actually working the barbershop, and the shop had closed. Everybody was off work, and that was an actual real dice game playing.
Dude,
it was a real dice game. So
it sounds like you have some really good teammates too. Which is I mean,
I have my circle. So just like in any business.
For sure. I mean, especially there's so many personalities and everything that you have to deal with that I'm sure it's just like, I mean, it's anywhere. Like you're going to like everyone, but you're also going to have your close people and it's empowering. And
it is, man. I love what I do on
I've always thought it's
weekly and daily basis.
Wrestling's such a strange thing of where you want to go solo and you want to be like the man.
Oh, wait.
He can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to get on Ox.
Ox.
My bad.
Wait.
No, I have to put it on there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, no.
Change something. He's got some setting on it in front of you. It's all right.
He's like, what is he saying? Sorry about that. Oh, God, Chris.
You're good.
But is it weird, like when you're, you have to work with people, but also at the same time, like you want to be the guy?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult, but I'm a believer. My abilities will take me to where I need to be.
Does it push each other by doing that though? Like,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like healthy competition, right?
You look at the team task. You had me, Hook, and Ricky Starks. Like we all knew we weren't going to stick together.
Yeah.
We all knew we were too big for it.
Right.
And then when me and Ricky had our thing, it was, we were surprised. It was after midnight. We're the main event on Grand Slam, and people are still there.
Yes. It was late. I was feeling it.
It was late. The train stopped, I believe. Like it was late, but people stuck with it because they were invested in what we did. Like I feel it's one of the biggest turns. Like when he lost the belt to Hook, and nobody expected me to hit him.
Right.
And that sound where I hit him, that was legit. That was legit. Like we're such. Me and Ricky, we have such a hunger for competition. Like we're not going to go out there and hurt each other, but we're going to make each other feel it.
He's another guy that when he got the chance on Dynamite, like I have not been familiar with him, and I immediately just hearing him on the mic, you're like, oh my god, this guy, he's got it.
It was one of those things. It's like when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
My DMs were just hateful.
Oh my, that's also the weirdest thing about it too, is that when we all know, obviously wrestling, it's competition, but it's a performance. And when people legitimately get mad and it's not even trolling, it's like they're legitimately mad about something.
Mad.
It's very, and they're adults, and that's what's strange to me.
You did that to your brother. How could you do that? And
they made me.
I hope you go to hell.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
God, have you ever received like nothing like death threats or anything from that stuff, right?
A few.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I asked that because that's how bizarre and weird people are. And yeah.
A few. And I'm like, oh man, okay. Doing my job.
Yes. You're like, we just lifted this one to a different level. God.
One thing I want to talk about is that I think it's underlooked is that Sacramento Kings Lakers rivalry.
Ooh, yeah, hell yeah.
Underlook. Yeah, and I want to talk about your team in the Western Conference.
Man.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that yet.
Yeah.
White Chocolate was my dude back in the day.
Dude, I love
Coming back.
All right.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who sat out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 Frankie D's. With the Kings win, they are now a half game out of the 2 seed in the Western Conference. The Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight with the Grizz in LA playing the Lakers. Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. And now more of Deuce and Mo with our guest, Powerhouse Hobbs.
That's my song. Man, you must have been studying me. Man,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, he plays this all the time. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. We're hanging out with Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW in town. Tomorrow night, AEW Dynamites.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be fun at Golden One Center.
Oh, yeah.
Sacramento needed an AEW show. It's been a minute. It's a great wrestling town.
It is. You think of all the past events here, like big shows, it's
Long overdue.
Long overdue.
There we go.
way overdue.
Yeah.
The Macho Man proposed to Miss Elizabeth here in Sacramento. At our
Was that
arena.
here?
Yeah.
Man, look
See,
at you.
I'm telling you.
No, he's wild. Like,
Man,
knows it all.
you gonna have to kick it, bro.
The Royal Rumble was here too, Chris.
Yep.
Yeah, Yokozuna.
What year?
Oh, in 93?
My man.
Oh
Damn,
my God,
see?
Chris. And do you see why I call myself a casual? Like this is why I never want to disrespect the real fans. So, something we were talking about a little bit at the break, you were bringing up the Sacramento Kings, but you also brought up the Los Angeles Lakers. You said underrated.
I don't think enough people talk about that rivalry.
Ooh.
Dude.
Because, man, you had Jason Williams,
Yeah.
Chris Webber.
Yeah.
You had Doug Christie.
Oh yeah, Doug, man.
You know,
Peja
Stojakovic.
It's funny you say like in Sacramento.
Oh, in Sacramento, we talk about it all the time because they haven't made the playoffs in 16
and it
years.
was all we talked about for
Yeah.
so long. But like you're like everywhere else, though, it's like I think people try to forget it because there was obviously issues with officiating and people were like,
well, and the pain, just the pain of losing.
And the
that
pain.
That's
series.
everywhere. That's
Yeah.
everywhere.
for sure.
That's everywhere.
Do you remember
sure.
the Doug Christie punch to Rick Fox? Do you
Yes.
remember that? Yeah.
Yes. Man, I remember. Man, I would sit and watch those games with my brother and my grandfather. Just, man.
Were you always a basketball fan too then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was. So there used to be this thing called in East Palo Alto. What was it called? I think it was like Friday Night Hoops or something. Or that may be the wrong name. I'm sure I'm gonna get called out on Twitter. But I remember Gary Payton would come down and hoop there because GP's from Oakland.
Yeah.
So he would come out and hoop there. I remember seeing Chris Mullen there a few times. So it's a lot of rec ball.
Did you ever
played
go
out
to
there.
like Pro Am League and Kezar Pavilion or anything? Did you ever
No,
go?
I
Okay.
didn't.
You said you grew up a Spurs fan, though.
Yes.
That's
You said that with
interesting.
some bass in your voice.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm not
you
a Spurs fan. No, it's
mean
just-
mugging me over
Oh
there,
no,
man.
I'm cool with the Spurs. It's just interesting. Because when you were chilling here before you joined us, I was going to start like talking smack about the Warriors.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna see if I can kind of
Kinda
poke him a
round-
little bit.
round me
Let's
up,
get him
huh?
Which
going.
is
Let's see if
really
he stands up.
stupid. Yeah.
I know, but I just want to poke the bear a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But then you're like, oh, I'm a Spurs fan. It just
Yeah.
surprised me.
So-
Why is that?
The first jersey I ever received was from my older brother. It was a David Robinson jersey. He was a George Gervin fan.
Ooh, Iceman.
Yes,
Yeah.
master of the finger roll.
Yeah.
and David Robinson. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'm sticking with it. Then I remember they got Rodman, Duncan, you know, Bruce Bowens.
How fun.
Yeah,
And,
so it's
fun basketball, right?
Yeah, I like it. It's fundamental. And
Yes.
everybody, Duncan doesn't smile. He's so boring.
Love it.
I remember seeing a perfect bounce pass from Tony Parker and Ginobili was cutting. It was just a perfect bounce pass right to his hands, finger roll, boom.
Yeah.
That stuff gets us.
Don't need nothing flashy.
Yep.
You know.
It's like stick to the basics, and sometimes the basics, the fundamentals. I mean, that's what will ultimately help you win.
Yeah, it gets you there. You look at Tim Duncan, any shot he shot off the glass, he knew what spot to hit. The square back of the corner, he knows what to hit.
Yep.
You know what? Winning is sexy. And he won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people want to talk about, oh, it's not flashy. It's like, well, you know what's flashy? The rings you wear in your hand. So,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the guy is one of the greats of all time.
So
Absolutely.
Are you a big Greg Popovich fan?
Yes. So I actually played when I was hooping, I played every Saturday morning. I played a little rec ball with Pop's nephew.
Stop it.
Yeah, we would play at Stanford University.
Oh, that's so cool.
Pick up games though.
Oh, that is so cool. I just love anyone that has even a connection with Greg Popovich. He's one of my all-time favorite coaches in all sports ever. I mean, not only for everything that he has done on the court, but just everything he stands for off the court. I just think it's so important with the platform that he has that he's been able to capitalize on it. So
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm going to say another guy who's from the Bay, Jason Kidd, is probably kicking himself in the ass for not going to the Spurs.
Oh
yeah.
I remember that. He was close.
Yeah.
That was. I think it was a Tony Parker for Jason Kidd trade that could have happened.
Yeah. But we ain't complaining.
Yeah.
We're not complaining.
You know, you mentioned during the break your brother and the tragedy you went through where your brother was shot and killed and you got shot in that too.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Like how do you overcome that type of loss? And I'm sure it's still something you feel to this day.
I overcame. Well, I've been through a lot of losses in my life. So brother, my mother, almost 2 years ago, grandparents who raised me, cousins, aunts, uncles. My family was extremely close. So if you look at my grandparents' house was on a corner, and then the next block over was my aunt's house, you know, and I would just go back and forth, you know, daily. If I got in trouble at my grandparents' house, I'd go to my aunt's house thinking I'm going to, you know, nobody knows.
Yeah.
She would know it, and I can get a butt whooping from her and then go back home and go get a butt whooping from my grandma because, you know, I told on her. So my family was extremely close. My grandparents, their siblings moved. Once my grandparents were the first to move from Mississippi out to the Bay Area, then everyone else followed them. So we're just extremely close, you know, not as close as we are now because, you know, a lot of people have passed away and we're trying to get everything back. But
life and kids too, all of it.
Definitely, you know, and for me, I'm a big advocate on talking to a third party, getting help. So, I mean, I do that. You know, so
mental health's big, man.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about working out physically, but mentally, it's
your brain's a muscle too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta
so
work that out.
That's probably what's helped you process some of
this
stuff. Yeah.
It is, but I get some of that emotion when I'm in the ring. You know, sometimes it comes back, and I'm pretty sure a lot of it's gonna come back tomorrow night against Warlow. So I got a lot of things built up. And,
dude.
You know, I'm gonna be hurting, but he's gonna be hurting worse, and I'm gonna walk out with his title.
That just pumped me up. I mean, I'm gonna go run through a wall for you.
I'm just saying, you know, I know a lot about Warlow. He knows a lot about my life, and I know about his life, and it's just, it's not gonna be something flashy. It's gonna be two big bulls fighting. Like, man, I plan on messing up the whole arena. Like,
you're gonna mess up Gold One Center.
Somebody's gonna clean it up. It's gonna be a fight. I mean, the first time Warlow and I stood toe to toe was in the Battle Royal. It was December 21st.
You remember that day?
I got it on my Instagram, bro.
Oh.
I got it on my Instagram. As soon as we made eye contact, we heard that roar. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, everyone jumped us.
Yeah.
But You know,
it's been brewing.
It has.
I'm
To
so
homegrown talent, like it has.
How do you prepare the day of a show and of obviously such a big match like tomorrow night at Golden One Center? Because I mean, we almost were going to have you on during the day tomorrow, and they're like, "Oh, it's close to showtime," and I'm thinking, yeah, like these guys, they're athletes, like they need to get focused here, everything. So how do you prepare?
I've been preparing since last Wednesday when I won that ladder match. You know, I have my routines that I don't talk about, which just I keep to myself. And when it's go time.
I love it.
I can't wait. We got to take one more break. We're going to come back with him for one more segment. Powerhouse Hobbs. Hey, TNT Championship against Wardlow tomorrow. We're going to have a new champion.
I know. I'm
going to be there to see
it. Do you feel it?
Do
you actually?
No, like
feel it?
You got
Do you
like
feel it?
I am so inspired and amped right now. Like, let's go do something. Like, I want to go do
we
something.
We got anybody here we can throw around?
Yes, actually, Nate.
Power bomb through this table.
Mojo in the chat is kind of. He doesn't think the title's changing hands.
Why doesn't he think that?
He says, well, Wardlow just won the title in San Francisco, right? Seems doubtful it would change hands so quickly. Do you understand?
He doesn't know who I am.
Thank you.
He doesn't know.
I don't need to be his advocate.
He doesn't know.
Proceed.
Yeah.
But, you know.
We got to take one more break. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
I love it. Do we have anyone we could throw down? I said, Nate. Where's Nate? Oh my God!
You're talking about Doug Chrissy. I know he's going to be at the show tomorrow.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And he's talk about a cash.
Hey, is he going to be with his son?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Doug told me all about that. He grew up in Seattle. He told me all about like the Portland territories and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just wrestled up in not Portland, excuse me, in Seattle. I want to say about 3-4 months ago, for Defy. And it was small, little intimate venue, and it was nice. I wrestled Rocky Romero.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
Oh yeah.
Rocky, he's legit.
He is.
Wild.
Dude, I didn't even ask you this, but when you officially signed with AEW, I know you feel like you're not satisfied, but was there a sense of relief? Like, oh, I got like.
So I was at the doctor's office. What was I doing? I was getting some routine blood work done for them because they had asked me to get some blood work done. I get a text. It's like, hey, this graphic is going to go up at noon your time. And I could not pull the graphic up. I just thought it was a match graphic, right? And I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, I pull in my driveway, and I look at this graphic. It says Will Hobbs is all elite.
Man.
And I just, I cried.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, okay. What's next? So it was, and I just started getting all this love from people, and love from people I didn't hear from or said, nothing's gonna happen. So I took it all in. I took it all in for a few days, and then went to work the next day.
We talked I was telling you, we talked to Eddie Kingston last week, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. Of course, I feel like when you get doubted your whole life, the chip never goes away.
No, I still have it. I have a chip on both shoulders.
Yeah.
I do. Like I get an attitude about certain things. I get upset, but it's like I said, when they give you your time to go out, let's take that chip off and just show it to the whole world.
When I think sometimes one of the toughest things when you're working for an organization, corporation, whatever, is when someone has control of like what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're capable of, and you just want to push through that. Are there ever times where you have to find a certain way to just communicate? Because I mean, you see someone like Eddie Kingston, and I feel like he's just like, has one way, to communicate. But for you, do you find a way to like find your inner peace and go in a direction?
I adapt to everything.
Okay.
I'm a good reader on people.
Yeah.
I adapt.
Wow.
So that's why I kind of stare at people.
Yeah.
I adapt. I read them. But I mean, what I love about our company so much is that Tony Khan is so approachable. If you don't feel comfortable with something, or you think something should be a different way, he will flat out listen to you. And if it works, cool. If it doesn't work, okay, cool. You still got to go out and do your job.
Hell yeah. Open door policy.
Right.
No, that's good. It's good to have that type of vibe, especially because you guys are creative.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. We were just talking during the break. The show is always live, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140, hanging out with Powerhouse Hobbs from All Elite Wrestling there in town tomorrow night. Golden One Center for AEW Dynamite. Get your tickets, by the way, golden1center.com/events. You can get your tickets.
Watch me make history.
He's going to make history.
Do it.
Becoming the new TNT champion.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I appreciate you, by the way, hanging out this long.
This is fun. I'm with it.
Right.
No, this is true. Like, I mean, I know we were supposed to have you on for like 25 minutes, and then just thank you for being willing and wanting to chill.
Guys. I mean, I'll be here next week.
Did you actually get a workout in today?
No, I'm going to after this. Yeah. I got my my pre-workout meal in my car.
What's a pre-workout meal?
So I got my protein shake. I got some Gerber baby rice. You're looking at me.
Yeah. Is it like squeezable or like out of a bowl thing? Jar?
It's in like a little plastic container.
And it actually is rice.
Gerber baby
It's
rice?
baby food.
Why do you eat baby
Because
food?
it's a quick absorbing carb.
Gerber baby
That's
rice.
a secret.
Is it like those like the glass ones? Like a little tiny
That's
glass
what
one?
I'm
It's in a
picturing.
little plastic thing like this.
Okay.
I got to measure, pour it in, shake it up.
Dude, that's what I'm always curious with you guys you're on the road a lot.
Yes.
Trying to like stay in shape.
Oh
And
my
I know
God.
there are times sometimes I know this is messed up. You see this though with wrestlers where it's like, hey, there's sometimes you can tell, man, this guy might not be working out the same
he's
because
put on
it's
weight.
been busy schedule or up and down, or oh my God, this guy is in shape.
Coming from unhealthy people, by the way.
Have you I just don't know how you guys even balance that on the road.
I tell people there's no excuse because it's your job.
That's true.
That is true.
It's your job.
Yeah. And it's just,
But
it's tough finding that willpower when you're traveling.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
is. That's why everything is so different from what it was back in the day. You can have, meals already made and shipped to you.
Yeah.
You get you a Yeti or something, pack your meals, and all you gotta do is find a microwave, or if not, be gangster and eat it cold like I do sometimes. It's all right. It all goes the same place. It digests the same way.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's an excuse. Occasionally, I'll fall off the wagon and eat something I shouldn't, but we're human. It's your job to look the part, and man, it's.
So when you go to the gym later, to like, how long do you go for?
I'll probably be there about 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah. I mean, it's so. I mean, you're going every day pretty much. You're working out pretty much every day.
Yeah.
What are there rest days?
There is. There's a couple in there.
Okay.
Some days
Active rest kind of thing.
Some days are just maybe just sitting in a sauna.
Yeah.
Going to cryotherapy, getting a sports massage. Some
Okay.
days are just
Taking care of yourself.
heavy. Heavy hitting the weights.
Yeah.
Light weights. So.
You're taking on Wardlow on Wednesday, but you've had some big matches in AEW. Do you have any like dream opponents? I know you probably get the ask that a lot. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be AEW, it could be anywhere, but like, do you have any dream opponents that you're thinking about?
Mox.
Oh.
Yeah. Why?
Because Mox can fight. I like to fight.
There'd be blood everywhere.
There's nothing.
You do not make fun of Moxley
Hey,
for getting busted open.
he's not coming in here.
Every single match.
I would definitely bust him open.
Yes.
It's about seeing someone's own blood and smelling it.
Oh God. Is it like, honestly, it doesn't gross you out a little?
I wouldn't lie to you.
Okay. It
No,
doesn't gross you out?
No. When you hit someone and you see them bleeding, that man.
Oh, barf! I barf everywhere.
It's just
in that
like,
ring.
okay, like for me personally, it's like when I wrestled Hangman Page.
Yeah.
When I wrestled him at Daly's
Yeah.
place. And his head got busted open. I'm actually licking my lips and smiling because I'm enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying watching this blood pour out of his head.
That is,
what?
I don't know. There's just something. I mean, I don't do well with blood or like needles or whatever because I guess I'm kind of wimpy in that sense. But like someone else's blood, being like touching me with sweat and everything. I guess you're just feeling the
meant
momentum.
for this business, Morgan.
No, the
Like
adrenaline.
me, I might be meant for this.
No
You
way,
might.
dude.
I
You
might
can't
be.
even take a. But I wish we had a chair and you could take like.
Okay.
I wish Will. Could
If
do
I were to
something
do
you.
it all over again, if I were to restart life, I would have tried to be a wrestler because I just want to be a part of the business.
You know
but
what?
I can't now. It's too late.
He has some pretty dope promos and is pretty good on the mic at times. No, you are. I'll give you.
You got to put him on the show.
Like, yeah.
Put it out there.
Oh, he
I
does.
put my promos
He does
out
on
there.
our
I will.
podcast all the time. Like, he starts out with just like some sort of promo. He has a fog machine that'll put in his face, and he's
You
just like.
said you have pyro at home.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about actually having real pyro, just like a little bit, but I think it's like a fire hazard, so I just can't do
It's
that.
all right. Just have
No.
somebody with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do you have a favorite moment for yourself in AEW?
I have multiple favorite moments. One of my favorite moments was coming out to save Moxley from Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
That was
wasn't that your first Dynamite or no?
That was I had wrestled Darby Allin on a Saturday night Dynamite.
Oh, was it Saturday?
It was a Saturday Night Dynamite due to the NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, when they have to move that around. Yeah.
I wrestled him on a Saturday Night Dynamite. Another favorite moment was being Christian Cage's second match, wrestling him.
That's cool.
My Grand Slam matches, just every big event I've been in has been a favorite moment. But right now, at this moment, was winning the Face of the Revolution ladder match in San Francisco.
That's
and
cool.
It can't get better than that because I'm standing on the top of a ladder where it says "Do not stand,"
dude. Well, it got a little scary there for a minute because that ladder was jacked up.
Yeah, I hit hard.
Yeah,
I wear a size 14 shoe, and my feet are over this ladder.
Oh God!
And I'm an athlete. I got balance, and I'm standing there, looking like the Jesus statue in Brazil, holding that. That's one.
And that ladder was moving a lot.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And
is there pressure in that moment when you're going up and
yeah,
reaching?
What's going through your mind?
It's live TV. It's live TV.
And
I'm gonna climb up there. I'm gonna get it. And if something would have happened, I would have fell on our officials.
Yeah.
But
that's what it was so great about like what people who maybe aren't like super locked in to watching wrestling in that moment, like those refs did the right thing.
Yes.
They came
in,
right? You got
in any ladder match you watch.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Refs are holding the ladder.
You have to.
All this.
Well, that's so stupid. I heard that narrative and I think it's so dumb.
It doesn't matter to me because I've learned from reading about Michael Strahan and listening to him. There's always going to be something in the media people like,
no matter what.
And I don't care because
Good.
10 out of 10 of those people wouldn't say that garbage to my face.
Right.
So it's.
And they would never do what you would do. They would never put someone else's blood on their bodies or stand up on that ladder.
I'm a gangster. I mean, like I'm going to go home and clean my gutters and stand on the top of a ladder and have my children hold the ladder.
Question: Do your children have your children seen you perform live then in AEW? Okay,
they did. They got to see it this past weekend.
Oh,
and man,
what'd that mean?
It meant a lot. It emotionally, it means a lot for me. And there were holy
S
chants going on. And
yeah,
my 2.5-year-old daughter, I heard, was chanting that.
Gotta buy in.
Yeah,
Gotta buy in.
She got to pass.
Hey, the other thing you mentioned is your son, who's 17. You said
17, size 17 shoe, 6'7". Yeah, still growing.
And he plays basketball. You're saying, right?
They're saying he's gonna grow anywhere from 6'10" to 7'1".
Oh my God!
And he's a good.
You hear that?
Kid. He's a good looking
Kings?
kid.
So what's yeah? I mean, is he trying to go like?
Yeah,
he wants to play pro ball.
Yeah, we went to the Warriors game last week when they made their comeback against the Timberwolves.
Yeah, and Bob Myers probably looking at him like, "Hey, he wants like, where you go? Where do you play?"
Like Festus looked at him and Mullen looked at him. Like, do you want to get a few rebounds for Draymond tonight?
Yes.
He's like,
damn, dude.
So he's
how do you get that height? I mean, not that you're small or anything, but I mean that's.
What are you saying? I'm short.
Yeah,
I mean, you're 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he just
6'7".
I mean, that's not small, but I mean, he could be 7 foot. Like you're.
His mother is about 6 foot.
Okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
Tall fam. Tall fam.
Dude.
Okay.
My kids get her legs, her calves, and I'm just like, man, I create monstars.
Yeah, you
know?
literally do.
So do you any of your kids have any aspirations to be a professional wrestler at any point? Have they talked about that?
I think my son Bam Bam just turned 5.
Okay, one Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that kid is like the size of a 8-year-old. Like yeah, he's wild.
Like Zion was when he was a kid. I'm sure Zion was.
He's wild, and he goes to his basketball camps, and people are like, is he supposed to be in this age group? I'm like, yeah. And he goes hard.
Dude, it's been a joy getting to learn more about your story. We can't wait to see you coming up tomorrow night.
Night, AEW Dynamite live
at Golden One Center.
Yep.
Still get your tickets at goldenonecenter.com. Click on events, be there. I'm going to be there. Chris is going to be there. We're all going to witness history. Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yes.
The new TNT champion. And that's just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
Because I can already see it now.
Oh.
AEW.
Ooh.
World
Ooh.
Heavyweight champion.
You the man.
Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys. This was fun. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. We got more coming up next. Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Yes.
Dude,
this was awesome. This was awesome. I could literally be here all day. This was awesome.
No, that was
This was cool.
so kind of you. Here, I'm going to turn this off. Just what's up, party people?
Hey, what's up, YouTube chat?
Dude, you guys, thank you so much for.
Dude, hopefully you guys enjoy that. I know, like, some people are like, I'm not a wrestling fan, but dude, I just like hearing people's stories, and the guy's got a story. He's been through so much. Like, even hearing him talk about, like, dude, his brother
Shot and killed.
he got shot 6 times, and then Hobbs got shot.
Hey, Jason Ross.
You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on. I'm going to.
Oh man. That was really cool. Really cool. We're going to talk some Kings now, though. Hey, if you're in the chat, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to PBP TV. I watch real sports, not scripted acting, but cool. That's cool. I mean, you don't enjoy scripted shows. No one says it's sports, but these guys train. They are 100% athletes, and they beat the hell of each other.
I already said I already explained to people it's a live performance. Like it's like going to a Broadway play, but with athletes.
Well, thank you, Earl, who says totally here for Kings content, but stayed for Hobbs. I'm not into wrestling, but that was a fascinating interview.
Dude, thank you.
I appreciate that, dude. Dude, how awesome was he, Chris?
How can you not root for him?
Yeah, truly now, probably one of my favorite monsters. You did the snarl thing. I can't believe you didn't do it.
I didn't know that you were doing it. I would have done that if I knew that you guys were doing it.
Was it cool? Did I look cool, huh? How awesome do I look?
You look like you're snarling, man.
Okay.
I love when he's like
Yeah, I don't know why he went for the choke. He's lucky I didn't turn on him. He's a little thicker than me.
A little?
He's got like 90 pounds on me.
Oh my God, Chris.
Appreciate that, Joe. PBTV, I don't think you like anything we do. It's weird that you even like consume our show because I don't feel like you do like anything we do. Do not talk good about this. All right, stand by.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who sit out with a sore hamstring, but it didn't matter. Kings still beat the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from beyond the three-point line. And Sabonis, who recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and we're still doing this, Deuce? 11 Frankie D's.
Yes!
With the Kings win, they are now a half game out of the second seed in the Western Conference. Kings can tie the Grizzlies tonight. Grizzlies are in LA to take on the Lakers. With the Lakers win, Memphis and the Kings will both be tied with 38 wins and 26 losses. And now more of Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sactown Sports.
You know what I love, guys?
What do you love?
I love the fact that we just had Powerhouse Hobbs in here for an hour.
An
Hey,
hour.
look, I understand.
You're a sports radio station. Did you talk Kings this hour? Did you talk that? Here's my view on it. If you have a good conversation, if it's compelling content, it's great. This show, we're going to hit on everything.
I don't care. Yeah,
it's a
who we're
3-hour
talking
show.
to. No, thank you. Like I could talk to a mental health team expert for an hour if I want to. It doesn't matter. Oh,
Chris's
hey, Chris,
mic's on.
your mic's on.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Cool. We
Joe
suck.
came in saying he's just like, oh man, I was trying to get over here to see Hobbs, but he kept getting pulled away.
Oh,
I do honestly. I think Hobbs would have hung out for the whole show. But
he was like, "This is great."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm not going to do anything else except work out and go back to my hotel." So,
dude, it was just a cool conversation. You learn about I like hearing about people's journeys because everyone's got a story. It doesn't matter what walk of life, and especially people have reached a different level. Like he has had to grind, getting paid like $50 doing an indie show. So now he is working full time for All Elite Wrestling. I just think that's awesome. And he's been through a lot, man. And I like how much pride he has in where he's from.
Yep.
Where he's come from. It's really cool.
And that's people's stories can be like, you think about the grind that people have in show business, and that goes for our business, that goes for the performing business, the sports business. Like it takes a different type of mentality. It takes a different type of person. And when you hear the stories and the struggles and the challenges that people have to face and fight through, I mean, there's just a lot of special people out there. And I'm just so glad that we were able to talk to one right now.
Well, let's talk some Kings, man.
Hell
because,
yeah.
the Kings got a nice win last night at Golden One Center, beating the Pelicans without De'Aaron Fox. You went without De'Aaron Fox. It's huge. And I loved how the Kings played. We talked about that in the first hour with Chris Watkins. But now, you're starting to get a feel for how other people around the league are feeling about the Kings. And we played this in the first hour, but I want to bring this back so we can expand on this.
Do it.
Zach Lowe, one of my favorite basketball dudes out there.
Basketball mind.
He is, what I like about Zach Lowe, he puts the work in. He legitimately watches games. He wakes up in the morning, catches up on watches full games. He talks to people. He learns. He educates. He's not just a talking head that watches highlights and has an opinion. Like, he brings something to the table. He was talking about the Kings with Tim McMahon from ESPN on his podcast today and talked about that the Kings are not too far away from being a contender.
The Kings are number one by a lot in points,
There you go.
points
That's
per
a good way to put
possession.
it.
25th on defense. And there's still reason to think that some of their defense is just bad luck because they don't foul. They get every defensive rebound. They force a decent amount of turnovers. They're allowing a lot of mid-range shots. Teams are just making everything from everywhere against them. Now, I think part of that is because they have no rim defense. They're getting smoked at the rim just like they did last year. Some of it with the mid-range jumpers and the threes, they might be a little bit better than 25th on defense. They're not going away, man. They're one wing away from being truly, truly interesting to me as like a potential contender. Like, I just think point guard, center, offensively, they are massively skilled with Fox.
They are
Sabonis.
unbelievable. Yeah. And look, I have personally acknowledged to both Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox that my harsh criticism of what at the time I called the Tyrese Halliburton trade was off. And Tyrese Halliburton is exactly who I thought he was, which is one of the rising stars in the NBA. But Sabonis is really, really, really good.
And I think they're going to be a tough out in the play. Everyone is just penning them in as the loser of the 3-6 series. I think they're going to be a tough out.
Can we appreciate this for a second, Morgan?
Yeah.
Can we appreciate the fact that Zach Lowe, a year and a month-ish after the Kings traded Tyrese Halliburton, just was talking about the Kings being a tough out in the playoffs and suggesting that they might be a wing defender away from being a contender. Are you kidding me? This is real life right now. ESPN, Zach Lowe giving the Kings some love.
And it's not only about him giving the love. It's about, like we were just talking about, how we respect him as a basketball mind, someone who watches, appreciates the league, and it stays up to date on everything. And there's so many times the narrative, because people want to be lazy and not watch, it's, hey, but this team has Luka. This team has this. And I've even have gone along the lines of those narratives when we were talking about a postseason and being in a matchup with the Mavs. My number one automatic thing was, when that trade happened and the Kings were in the third spot, was, well, they have the experience and they have Luka and Kyrie. Like that's ultimately what it is. Not giving the love to what this basketball team with the Sacramento Kings are doing, are executing at a high level. And what they are doing is translating into serious winning basketball.
And it's getting respect around the league.
Yes,
now,
as it should.
The other thing that they were talking about, what is the Kings' playoff potential?
What if it shakes out that they hold on to 3 or move up to 2, whatever it ends up being? They draw Minnesota in the first round or Dallas in the first round, a team that, like, everyone thinks, I think Dallas has more upside than Sacramento because of Luka and the Luka Kyrie combination, but there's really nothing. They're 2-5. We're going to talk about them in a second. They're 2-5 together. There's nothing that really suggests that they should be like favorites over the Kings. Minnesota should not be favorites over the Kings. We'll see when Cat comes back. But, like, that's a winnable series. Okay, let's say they win that series. Let's say they get the draw, breaks for them, they win. Then it's 2-3 against the Grizzlies with no Brandon Clark, and let's even assume Job's back.
Or you might be looking at one of those teams in the second round instead. Like, because look, I'm not going to sit here and like the Grizzlies. Obviously, we've just talked about a lot. There's more question marks around the Grizzlies than any team that's going to have home court advantage in the first round.
I'm just saying.
By far.
The King. There is a semi-reasonable world where we wake up and the Kings are in the conference finals. I wouldn't pick it. It's going to depend a lot about who their first round opponent is out of these teams. Because if it's Clippers, Warriors, whatever, I think they're in for an uphill battle. But if it breaks right for them, they're good.
Morgan Reagan,
They're
Zach
good.
Lowe. Did you hear this?
I did.
There is a world where the Kings could make it to the conference finals. Imagine uttering those words last year at this time.
Nope.
It's crazy. I obviously I would not predict that either, but there is a path because you look at the West right now and there is a path. I feel like I'm John King. You could look at a couple of things, a playoff scenario. All right. There's a path here. The Kings, the Warriors are kind of down. Are they trying to figure it out? We'll find out. All right. Dallas, I don't know. They can't guard anybody. Luka, Kyrie, can they get it together? We'll see. I'm the John King's.
Oh, he's vibing.
I'm going to sound like somebody else.
No.
Wow, Chris Watkins is shaking his head.
That's a little different.
You stop with that disrespect.
There is similarities, but it's not the same. Don't ever say that. You son of a.
I didn't say it.
I don't even want to know.
But seriously, you look at the West. The Clippers. I call them the paper champs.
Yeah.
We said they're the champions on paper for like 4 years now. The paper champs.
Wow.
They got some things to figure out.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dallas. I get why it's sexy, Luka and Kyrie, but what else? We know the Warriors. I don't know. Everyone wants to put the Warriors as one of the three teams to contend in the West with Denver and Phoenix. You got to be better on the road to be considered that. They've won 7 road games this year. I believe they're 7-24.
You want to know why?
That's embarrassing.
You want to know why people don't count them out? It's a couple things. It's when they start showing up, you see it. They have the experience too. And 3, the way that they talk so confidently about their team, like no one wants to see us in the postseason. There's a little part of you that goes, yeah, they've said that before and they backed it up.
That's fine. I just think their team's more flawed than ever. Obviously the Wiggins stuff, who knows? He's going through some personal things right now. And I hope everything's okay with his family. He's been done for a minute. While. Steph just got back. We'll talk some more hoops coming up next. Plus, we got the return of Truth or Trash. We got story time with Chris Verlad. Oh, we got so much to get to.
So much.
Until 2 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports. Oh, there's only a minute break, huh?
Go. I want to tinkle. Can you tinkle? Hey, we got a tinkle time. Hey, we got a tinkle time. Hey. We got a little tap dancer over here. Are those your headphones? Oh, well, you may have them back. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I do have an idea for another P song, so buckle up, Chris's.
How awesome was? Then
what?
I'm on a complete high for meeting Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh, should I not call him Will Hobbs?
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
But I'm just like, oh man, that was awesome. He came in here. Then Chris gives me some news, and I'm just like,
what's the news? Can we know?
No.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh God.
Okay, now I can't hear you.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
I feel like I'm Ron Burgundy in Anchorman when he's trying to run to get back for the newscast.
And you make it. And every time I don't want you here. I want to start the show without you.
You can't.
I can. I can.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Why?
I mean, it's like you can't start.
Oh, here we go.
What?
It's like you can't have Michael Jordan or you can't have.
That's fair. I was going to say, like, Jimi Hendrix, you can't have a concert without him back in the day. Like, he's the guy, he's the star
This
of
is
the
not
show.
a good
That's
comparison.
a crazy Jimi Hendrix. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of elite people.
Elite. Why would Jimi Hendrix come on? Which, I mean, I
was thinking of rock star, and I'm kind of a rock star persona. I've got that type of swagger.
Powerhouse Hobbs is in
show.
here, and now his energy is going on to Deuce.
He tried to intimidate me. You know, when it's
I
funny
liked
when he
it.
first came in, he tried to say monster, and I was like, oh, is he going to be in character? Is he going to be? We disarmed him fast.
Yeah, we did.
disarmed him fast, which just goes to show you
Oh, here we go.
ability, because it's not always about physical warfare. Hobbs,
show him your muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, tell him.
It's about mental warfare. And within the matter of seconds, I had you sitting here telling me your life story. You wanted to come here and cut promos on Deuce Mason?
Oh.
You want to say, call me Mr. Monstar? By the end of it, who won? Deuce Mason. Thank you. That's
Not
a good
bad,
promo.
Not
Good
bad.
promo.
But guess what? You wouldn't say it to his face.
Oh, I would. I absolutely would. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Deuce and Mo hanging out until 2 p.m. here on Sactown Sports. We got Kels and Rami coming up from 2 until 6 tonight. Morgan, we were talking before the break about what Zach Lowe had to say about the Kings and how things are going in Sacramento. Have you reached a point now where you're like, yeah, I not only do I think they can be in the first round and be in a series, that they could win a first round series?
Yeah, no. And this is, things change so fast. And I think in sports, I know in sports, people, when they have takes, they have an issue when they're wrong or when it changes. And with the Kings, it feels like the opinion changes for everyone, not just me, not just national media. I think for a lot of people, it changes week by week when you keep throwing tests at them with oh man, this road trip though, it's a long one. What are they going to do here? Oh, this game without De'Aaron Fox, but he's really part of their full identity. Oh, Domas Sabonis broke his hand. Keegan Murray in a slump. All these challenges, adversity thrown at them, and they've responded time after time after time. And with that, Deuce, it has given me, not only because of those scenarios, that they have the ability to beat a team in a first round series, but I think when you just go to the eye test and you see what you're witnessing with this squad and how good of basketball that they are playing together, you got to believe it.
They had they tied their season high with 39 assists last night. Whereas I think some people are calling it Frankie D's.
Yeah,
right?
no, we're calling them Frankie D's.
Yeah, Franklin D. Roosevelt dime, Frankie D's.
There you go. You got to explain it.
Yeah, every time, because no one's going to ever get this. Obviously the offense is potent. Something that Zach Lowe was saying about the Kings defense is he thinks they're actually better than their 25th defensive rating. And honestly, at times I do agree with that, because a lot of times I don't feel like it's an effort thing a lot of times with Sacramento's defense. I think sometimes they get beat. It's just like, hey, a guy makes a bet, the guy is better. He makes a nice shot. The defender is not big enough to deal with this elite wing. Like, they're going to have some disadvantages based on personnel. But I think they play competitive. I think they play hard. What he was just mentioning, defensive rebounding matters. The other number that jumps out to me is how they control the transition game. They had a bad game against Minnesota the other night where they allowed 16 fast break points in the first half. I think 21 in the entire game. But on the season, they allow 11.5 fast break points a game. That is number one in the NBA. So there are some things defensively they're doing well.
Well, you talk about a lot of it being effort. Right? It's you might not have the best individual defensive players in the league, but what you can control is your effort and how you do things together and how you execute things together. And I think when you look at this team too, Mike Brown is only going to pull you for two reasons on the defensive end. You aren't showing effort or you're having a brain fart. If you're mentally not there and you're time after time. We've seen it with like Terrence Davis or Chimeze Metu.
Keegan Murray last night a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the other night with Keegan Murray, even when he was only playing 20 minutes because of what he was doing out there. You have those moments and you're not making the changes and altering your defensive game in listening to what your coaches are telling you, then you are going to sit. It's either make this specific change that I am telling you that you need to make and you will be better, or else you don't need to play.
Yeah, we saw them throwing some 2-3 zone last night too. And, I think we're seeing more and more NBA teams mix in some zone looks against teams because it can confuse teams a little bit. It throws them off, gets them out of rhythm. It definitely got New Orleans out of rhythm a bit yesterday, but I thought after the game, Trey Lyles made an interesting point. And sometimes it's weird when you hear this, but he was highlighting the fact that the defense last night, he goes, guys were talking. We were communicating. And,
goes far.
Like yelling.
Yeah.
And I think if you get, we've been lucky to see NBA practices, G League practices before, and they really emphasize the talking on defense. Like, I mean, you grew up playing it. That's what it's about. It's such a fundamental basketball thing. But believe it or not, it doesn't happen all the time in the NBA.
That's it.
And for the Kings, who have some deficiencies based on personnel from a defensive standpoint, if you're not communicating, you're toast. And last night, they were talking like crazy. They were playing physical. They were up in the guys. It was a much better defensive performance.
It's such a weird thing when you don't see teams communicating, and it's just like it's a weapon that you're not utilizing to the fullest that could benefit you and your team to get to the next level just by utilizing something like your voice. It doesn't take that, and that's where the effort comes in to tell one extra player, one extra teammate, like, get over there, I got your help, I got your back here, or ahead you, or whatever it is. And that's why you saw last night so many times that there was just really precise movements, crisp, sharp basketball, even on the defensive end, with guys trying to push and come off screens, the way that they're navigating screens to the person that was stunting the ball handler, to the person that was running out to the corner, because obviously against the Minnesota Timberwolves, there was a lot of wide open threes. And I just love the response to the mistakes that they made on Saturday night.
Yeah, and it's life, right? And I know sometimes we're like, they get paid millions, blah, 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 blah. I get it.
Yeah.
And they need to be locked in. You're right. The challenge has to be to do it consistently. But there are going to be some nights in the NBA breaking news. They're not going to be. And it's going to cost them. It happens. You're not going to be at your best every single game.
No.
You better be on it most of the time, especially if you want to win championships at this level. That's what it takes. It takes a different level of mentality and focus to do it every single night.
Mike Brown standards too, right? Those are his standards that he has with his team that he is coaching. I mean, even with his coaches bringing it starts with him. It trickles on down. Everyone has been buying in. And I think that's been the most beautiful thing too. Even if a practice is hard the next day after a long road trip or whatever it is, people understand that they need to do it to get to the next level, to get that winning level, to be in the third seed in the Western Conference, baby.
Do you realize what's coming up Thursday?
What?
Do you remember what's coming up the next 3 games?
Yeah.
The Knicks.
Yeah.
Thursday night TNT. Saturday at Phoenix. Monday, Milwaukee. I know we're all fearful of that schedule, but I'm telling you.
Fear the deer.
You need to realize these teams don't want to play the Kings either.
I know.
They don't. I mean, I'm sure they're confident in themselves, right? But
for sure,
the Kings have a reputation of being they are the best offensive team in basketball this year.
You don't want none of that team.
Last year.
Yeah.
Can you guys imagine if they win 2 out of 3?
Which 2?
If I were to choose 2 to win,
Knicks, Avi. You want Knicks?
I think Knicks and Suns.
Yeah.
That would make you go crazy. Because then Milwaukee is like so good. And they're in the other conference where, like, obviously beating the Bucks would be awesome.
Yeah.
But winning on national TV and then beating the team that's trying to move up on you in a huge game on the road. Oh my God.
Dude, if
go win all 3, Morgan.
we have to get pyro at the home studio.
Yes. Okay.
Come on. Like that. Like, I just got pumped once again.
It's going to be a good challenge, though. This is what it's about. We're talking about all these games being playoff games from here on out. That game on Thursday night is going to be an amazing atmosphere at Golden One Center. Saturday on the road, the Suns know that they need to win that game. Monday, The Bucks come to town. We know how legit that team is. Oh, we got so much to get to. We might be able to sprinkle in truth or trash. We might have to save truth or trash till tomorrow. I don't know.
Save it.
We still have story time with
I
Chris
want story
Verlade.
time.
All right. It's Deuce and Mo.
Do you?
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Of course we do. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
This guy.
Here's one thing I want to look at real fast. A couple of schedule notes. So the Suns play the Thunder tomorrow, the Kings Saturday. Okay. And then the Warriors Monday. Okay. So that doesn't impact things. Okay. Here's a question.
Yes.
No, never mind.
I
I thought the Bucks were maybe coming in on a back-to-back. They play the Warriors on Saturday and then the Kings Monday. Ooh, here's a question. Morgan's not really focused.
I am. I'm fully focused. What?
So the Kings and Bucks play Monday, but then the Bucks play the next night in Phoenix. Does Giannis sit one of those games?
In which game would he sit? Against the Kings, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think he sits against the Kings.
Yes. 100% we're right. I how weird is it that that's like part of the thought process? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a story I wanted to do for story time that I told Deuce about earlier.
And?
It was way too dark.
Too dark. Are you posting about Will Hobbs right now?
No.
To where I was like, man, I can't even do this.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, Chris. I kind of want to know what that is now.
Morgan, how come you didn't send me the picture with you in it too?
Because I didn't like it.
Okay, here we go.
But I mean, I will.
It's fine. I'm just going to post a one of me and Chris right now. I won't tag Chris because he's got a secret Twitter account.
It's not secret if you tell people about it.
Yeah, but no one knows what it is.
That's true.
It is at Chris Watkins.
Major love.
It is at Chris Watkins. Dude, that was so cool. Giannis is out tonight, says Brooke.
She knows because she has him on it, her fantasy team.
Oh, nice. Joe says cowards sitting against the Kings. Agreed. Cowards.
I think it's more of a, all right, we know this is going to be a loss, so let's just rest our guys. So hopefully we can win tomorrow.
Is that what the mindset is? Losers. Everyone's a loser. Brooke says, I'm going to be pissed if he sits. He sits every time he plays us. So I've never seen him. Dude, I love how many people come to Sacramento Kings games like every night. I mean, that aren't even season ticket holders that are just like, got it. Hot ticket in town. My brother, Jesse. Shout out, Jesse. I think he's listening.
That's cool. What's it like to have family that like listens to you? Is that cool?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's really encouraging. I always feel like they're supporting me. Jason Ross on the chat says, can I give out Chris's Twitter handle? Of course. Put it on the chat for everyone.
That's not the real Jason Ross.
Oh, really?
It is.
It can't be.
Why?
Because much like Chris Watkins just said here, it's not Facebook. How does he know how to get in the YouTube chat?
Oh!
Yeah, you can't get that on his flip phone.
Wow. You guys are nasty people.
Chris, I think we should do story time in the last segment.
Okay.
Also, happy birthday, Jenna Fisher today.
Oh.
How old?
42.
Okay. Happy birthday. You know who Jenna Fisher is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The Office.
I'm Team
Pam.
Karen.
Your team who?
Team Karen.
Well, who's Karen?
Jim's girlfriend before Pam.
Oh.
Rashida Jones.
Rashida. God, I forgot her name was Karen.
What a name.
Karen Filippelli.
Time out. How old do you think Jenna Fisher is?
I think she's 49.
48.
Really? What?
What did he guess?
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Sacramento Kings were without De'Aaron Fox, who set out with a sore hamstring, but it did not stop the team from beating the New Orleans Pelicans 123-108. Kings guard Kevin Huerter led all scorers with 25 points, shooting 6 of 10 from 3. Sabonis also recorded his 8th triple-double of the season with 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. It is 1:30 and time for more Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
Deuce Mason, Morgan, Reagan. Here until 2 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and at SactownSports.com. Shout out to our guy Frankie Cardicelli, who's sick today.
Oh,
He was supposed to come in today, and he said,
Deuce, my throat kind of hurts.
honestly, that's what he sounded like.
What do you mean? That was the audio from the voicemail he left me.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you played it.
Off.
Yeah,
that
my
was.
bad.
Chris actually had more of that. Can you play that? The rest of that?
Yeah.
I'm too sick to come in.
Oh,
Yeah.
who coughs like that in a
know.
voice message? What a weirdo.
Anyway, I was reading his latest
Frankie
piece.
Cascarelli.
He was highlighting Kevin Huerter's play after a tough
Ooh.
February. Frankie writes that after shooting 29% from beyond the arc over 12 games in February, Huerter is shooting 17 of 29 from 3 over the past 4 games. What do you think's been different for him? Is it simply he's just knocking down shots?
No, because I think he has the ability to shoot the ball like that any night, even though he didn't show up even on All-Star Weekend for some reason. But I think it's been attention to detail for him, whether it's the way that he's coming off a screen or he's squaring up with his footwork to make sure he has the best look at the basket, elevating his shot more, whatever it is fundamentally and mentally, it's helping. He looks confident in his shot. It's a nice rhythm. But he's doing all the other things too, Deuce, which sometimes for some could really elevate their game. You know, one person that might be playing well on defense and it helps them on the offensive end as well. I think with Kevin Huerter, it's not even about his defense necessarily. It's about the way he's crashing boards. He's playmaking, he's finding the open guy. And then it's also helping his flow of his offense, his shot.
Yeah, it's just been good to see him get it going again because we know how. And what's also kind of crazy about it is with him having that month of February, the Kings offense did not miss a beat.
Nope.
And that's what's been so good about the Kings offense. It seems like even if one guy kind of drops off for a bit, they don't really get impacted by it too much. There's another guy who steps up, and that's what's been pretty wild about it. I think it's because they just have that chemistry. They have a system in place where the ball's moving around and you're going to get good looks out of it. What the looks Sabonis creates,
oh my
talk about
God.
the dribble handoffs, but he draws so much attention. And last night it was so important for them to play with pace, especially without Fox there. You need to push the pace. You need to get up and down the floor. I thought Davion did a good job of that too.
Yeah, Davion pushing the pace was it was just really encouraging, right? That if De'Aaron Fox is out, that he has the ability to continue the same strategy identity that this team has on the offensive end. And he doesn't necessarily need to be a threat with his shot making, even though last night he was creating for himself. He was finding ways to dribble, step back, boom, hit the 3. But he's so explosive too. The way that he can take someone off his handles, go down the lane to become a threat. So if someone does commit over, he can find the open man. He's done a great job of showing off his speed and his ability to lead this team when De'Aaron Fox is not on the court. Now he needs to find a way to do that in shorter amount of time.
I'm curious if he can do that. Like, what is it that's keeping him? Because I've heard from multiple people, and I see it too, is like, hey, it's really tough to get in a rhythm when you're playing 3-minute chunks. And maybe Mike Brown needs to, change that up a little bit. But at the same time, like, you have to make the most of it. I mean, we're talking to Powerhouse Hobbs, Will Hobbs last hour, talking about making the most of whatever time you get.
Yeah.
If you get a minute in the ring, you have a minute to have an influence on something. Go out there and execute it. How does he do that in those brief minutes he could get.
I think it's a different type of mindset. Even what Will Hobbs was saying, like you can just tell he's mentally strong in so many ways. You know, he has found help, whether it's with a third party therapy, meditating, whatever it is. And I think with Davion Mitchell, he's such a smart athlete, such a smart basketball player that he just has to start believing in himself in those moments or in the time frame that he is playing. And by doing that, you got to play more freely. And what we saw last night, he was playing freely because I think he knew at the end of the day, he wasn't just going to get pulled for a mistake. Where if you feel like that's the case, that you're going to get pulled for a mistake, so you have to play a certain way, then you're not going to play your game into the best of your ability. And I think Davion Mitchell has to just find a way to control that mentally, to maybe find a better flow in the short amount of periods that he might be playing when De'Aaron's back.
Also helps when he knocks down shots.
Yeah.
He was 6 of 8 shooting last night, knocking down some big threes. And that's a good thing. The last couple of times he's gotten the opportunity to start in place of Fox, he's played well. He's played aggressive. He's attacked. He's not just doing the catch and shoot thing.
Thank you.
It's been encouraging. And you talk about a guy who can impact the game defensively. Like he did that last night too. He does it every single night. It's just he got 30 plus minutes last night. The challenge for him is, can he do it in those limited sample sizes? But also, I think if he can, those minutes are going to increase. I think it's going to make it for an interesting decision for Mike Brown to be like, all right, we got to play him with Fox more.
Yeah. And I mean, if that's the case, I believe it could work.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe there's a place for it. We're going to see some really frustrating times ahead too. I think when we're in the postseason, and I think a lot of people, your expectations have gone up for this team so much since they've shown so many things of what they're capable of, and it's understandable. But at the same time, I think it's important to make sure as we get further into the season and when the postseason arrives, that this team, these players, have not been there before. Just because Matthew Dellavedova has been there and he's going to be sharing his knowledge and his experience with this team, it can only go so far. You know, like that's no knock on anyone that's been an NBA champ and at the end of a roster, but like you have to experience it for yourself to be able to grow from those moments. And we're going to see a lot of frustrating moments, I feel like, going forward.
I don't know if it's because Powerhouse Hobbs is in studio, but I'm kind of in a fighting mood now.
Who are you going to fight? Chris? Oh, Chris Watkins?
Hey, Andy Brooks. Oh. Look at me in the chat.
Let's see.
I see your ridiculous question, and I'm going to answer your ridiculous question. I did this last time. I'm going to do this again. The De'Aaron Fox slander better stop.
How do you take a game off when you see what Sabonis is doing every night?
Okay. Couple of things. Andy.
Throw it down, Deuce.
Andrew.
Oh, he hates
tell
that.
You something, Andrew.
I don't think he likes
De'Aaron Fox had hamstring soreness.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a hamstring injury before? Do you realize that De'Aaron Fox wanted to play? Do you realize that Mike Brown said, you're not playing De'Aaron because we do not want you to get hurt long term because you're a point guard, and hamstring injuries, breaking news, they linger, buddy. Okay, it's one thing to play with a hand injury. I don't know if you had a hamstring. You want to go run and push the pace with a hamstring injury? Do you want to do that? How do you do that? How do you do that?
You don't even have to compare injuries, but though with Andrew.
You don't fight through hamstring stuff. So, yes, if he takes a game off because his coach says, we need you to be ready for Thursday night when the Knicks come to town on TNT, a national audience is here, then that's what's going to happen.
Hey, Andy says, I can't type. I am beaten.
Yeah. Jay, smash your hands.
That was such a weak
Know your
smash.
role and shut your mouth.
Thank you.
You jabroni.
We got a break. And coming up next, do not go anywhere because Christopher Laud's got some stories that you need to hear.
Ooh.
It's story time with Christopher Laud, baby. It's coming up next on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com. How do you think, Andy, you son of a... You know what, Andy? Good response, though. I'm glad you kind of made light of it after. Make sure that they don't use well.
Great response. That's nice of you, Deuce.
A journey.
Thank you.
What a good dude.
I know. No, I'm just so glad that that's what's, Deuce and I have obviously talked about this many times with you guys and just the radio format and how you don't get to have these long form conversations with people because there's breaks and it can disrupt a flow of a conversation. Having the ability to have someone in studio with you can help that situation, right? And obviously we stay live on YouTube during breaks, so it makes it even better. But I felt like we got to connect with this wrestler who, you and I enjoy wrestling, watch wrestling, and to be able to connect with someone at that level too, really, really, really cool.
Yeah, he's someone that these wrestlers do a lot of interviews, right, Morgan? And
oh yeah,
a lot of times they go into these radio stations and people don't really know them, right?
No, and they ask him like, could you
is it real though?
Hit me with a cha? Even though I wanted him to do that to Deuce, but that was after an hour, okay? Yeah. I wait. Chris, dude, did you guys exchange numbers? Because
we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well, I have his number yeah.
Whoa, you got Powerhouse.
You can send him a text saying thanks. Just want to say thanks again. It's Chris, whatever.
Are you bragging that you got his number?
No, he had to call. When he was.
I was surprised. Like usually with these guys,
they come with someone,
yeah.
dude. I thought the same thing.
You could tell he's just like he's his own guy. He beats to his.
Oh, we need to do the giveaway today.
Oh, 125 or something.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, can I do that? Well,
when we come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not gonna mess with you, what you're
doing.
No. We got really quiet.
I know. I was like, wait, where am I?
What's up, everybody?
Deuce and I have to call a Stockton Kings G League game after this.
Yeah, tonight.
The
Stockton Kings, the Kings Knicks tonight. G League edition.
Yeah.
The Stockton Kings, by the way, #1 in the Western Conference in the G League. Shout out Keon Ellis, Namias Keita,
dude,
Deontay Burton, and Bobby Jackson.
It's so much more fun. Like we've called G League games for a little bit now. It's way more fun calling when they're good and they're winning.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wanted to see if they're on. Let's see tonight. Oh, ESPN Plus tonight.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sactown Sports.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Deuce and Mo here on Sactown Sports 1140. Why are you pointing at me?
The tickets. Oh, I just thought you were going to forget again.
I had it right in front of me. I was about to get to it, and you just kept pointing. Just say sorry. Just say sorry, and we'll move on.
No.
Just please.
No.
Okay. We're not moving on.
Fine. Let's have radio silence.
Damn it! Appreciate you guys for being loyal.
Thank you, Daddy Deuce.
Hanging out with Sactown Sports on this new lineup, 6A to 6P. We just had Chris and Co., which is Monday through Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. How about this? If you're caller number 11 right now, I'm hooking you up. Do you want to know what you're getting?
What are you getting?
Snoop Dogg at Golden One Center, baby.
Whoa.
Live Nation has got your plug to check out Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, Too Short, Warren G. and Burner High School Reunion Tour 2023 with special guest DJ Drama. Live at Golden One Center, August 25th, 2023. What a lineup that is. No Wiz, Too Short, Warren
Dude,
G.
that's awesome.
Burner. If you want tickets, 2 tickets right now.
Two
Call
tickets?
number 11-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140.
Ayo.
Thank you so much. All right. Buckle up. It's time
Oh.
for story time with Chris Verla, baby.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Chris Verlaud gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not. Story time.
Chris Verla, baby. What do you got, Chris?
All right, let's stay here in California.
Oh,
That's what I'd love to.
ooh.
I would love to. Let's go to Porterville, California.
Porterville?
Porterville. You've never been to Porterville?
No.
Best part about it.
Is leaving Porterville?
That's rude.
And you've never even been there.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
It looks cute.
this comes from Gizmodo. Raymond Brewer told investors that he could build machines that can convert cow manure to methane gas that could be sold as energy on dairies in California and in Idaho. And this is like a big thing that's become famous, like in the Midwest, and that they're trying to get the methane gas out of the cow manure to sell. And it's supposed to be sort of a cleaner way, but
Still issues with all the big farming, not great.
Huh.
So Brewer told dairy farmers that they would get 66% of the profits from renewable energy credits. That's what they've been pushing for, renewable energy.
Yeah.
So does that sound too good to be true?
I mean, it sounds fine. I mean, it's poop at the end of the day, like that we're talking about. So it sounds fine.
Well, it's not true.
Oh.
That is because Brewer pled guilty to charges that he defrauded investors.
Oh.
From 2014 to 2019, he took $8.75 million. And instead of building these machines as promised, he used it to buy a new house and new Dodge trucks.
Oh my God.
So he just left the cow poop there to do nothing.
Yeah.
And what do the cows get out of this deal?
They die. They get
the poop.
slaughtered.
No,
No.
those dairy farms, they get milked.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
God.
They treat them great at
Yeah.
those dairy farms.
All the-
Don't you remember those commercials, Happy Cows?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
they
so
didn't show the
happy.
pus and everything else, but
If you drink milk, you disgust me.
you
Whoa.
no, it's true. You are pretty disgusting.
I don't think I've had a glass of milk in like years.
Right. That's
Probably
it's-
over a decade.
And
It's
why is that,
weird.
Chris?
I think it's kind of just gross.
Yeah, right. It's like you're not supposed to drink that. There's
So what's your go-to?
like an oat milk.
Yeah,
oat milk
I
is
like
oat milk
oat
is
milk.
the best.
Yes.
if I need
like
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like creamy and stuff. It's perfect.
Dude, it is like almond milk too watery. Oat milk. Mwah. So yeah, anyway, but poop. Wow, this guy awful.
So
I
in-
hate people.
In 2019, so he started this in 2014. In 2019, investors started to get suspicious. And that is when Brewer moved to Montana
Oh,
of
God.
course.
and assumed a new identity until he was arrested in 2020. Brewer will be sentenced in June and faces up to 20 years in prison.
Good.
20 years.
So like almost $10 million.
Yeah,
That's
no,
insane.
well, if you did all that work, why would you move to Montana? Why wouldn't you like bounce to Mexico or something?
Like
You're
it took him a
asking
year
for-
to find him in Montana.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. Yeah, he was probably like, I'm good here. I'm good in the middle of the woods here. Too bad. Good for him. I'm glad he's going away.
All right, let's go to the southern hemisphere, all the way to Auckland, New Zealand.
Okay. Ooh,
That'd be a cool place to go to.
it would be a great place.
So this is Auckland, New Zealand, courtesy of the New Zealand Herald. Have you guys ever like thought you heard like a cell phone vibrating and it wasn't vibrating?
Sure.
Or like, yeah, he's like,
Yes.
And it-
Your vibration is not good.
Do it again.
You're doing this. You're going. You have to-
What's it? That is good.
That is pretty okay. Good job.
That's not. That was your phone.
Oh. No. Hey. Yeah, no, I hate doing the show with dudes.
Like your
too.
Dean.
Okay, goodbye. Go on.
So, what if that was happening for a month
Oh,
in your
God.
house?
Oh no.
You
Like
just-
really happening, or are you just
Like
feeling it?
you hear, and it sounds like a cell phone vibrating.
I would think that Deuce is stuck under the house making that noise.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week
No.
for a month. Well, that's exactly what happened to the residents of the Pacific Luxury Apartments, a 57-story luxury apartment. Residents were complaining for a month, and that 25 residents said it drove them crazy. They couldn't sleep. They stopped going into parts of the house because that's all they could hear is that noise.
Man.
And the building, they were trying to find out if it was a maintenance issue, if there was an electric issue. No one could find out what the sound was. Well, it's finally found out. It was actually from a resident who installed a ceiling vibrator. Now, that is...
I'm sorry.
So this was
what?
What is
a
this?
ceiling vibrator. So this was developed in China, and it's a way, like, like if you've got people living above you,
Yeah.
instead of just like hitting on the
Oh,
ceiling
yeah. We
or
used to
something
use
like
a
that,
broom as a kid.
you've got this annoying buzz
Okay.
that was not only going through the person above's apartment, it was going throughout the entire building.
Why'd they leave it on all the time?
They don't know. He hasn't said like why he did it, and they're figuring out like what to do legally. Like, he was in his own apartment with this machine, so like what actually did he do illegal to drive all these people crazy?
You're a nuisance, so you get evicted from the apartment.
So that's what they're worried. They haven't said like who it is or that because there's privacy concerns, but they said that they checked his house, and what they believe happened was he just took, when they came over, he just took it down. It's like, oh yeah, go ahead, look around.
This is they're actually for noisy neighbors. I didn't even know that's a thing, and that sounds.
I didn't know until
You can get it on Amazon.
My mom, the way she would, if there were people up above us taking that broom to the ceiling, boom, 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 keep it down, boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
That's awful.
dude.
Awful. Well, I'm glad that they figured it out. But yeah, the guy shouldn't. I mean, it's legally for sale, but maybe they can ban them.
Like, I would say like, hey, can you pay my rent for a month?
Yeah. Yeah. No, if a luxury apartment, I'd be so annoyed.
And there's parts of the house they just like, okay, I'm not going into this part of the house because this is driving me crazy.
That's insane. Also, when Chris said ceiling vibrator, I was like, where's he going with
Yeah,
this?
I think we
Hey,
all of our faces were like,
I know the rules. I know the rules.
I know the rules.
All right, let's end with a good story.
Oh, I love it.
Love a good story.
So this takes place in Willamette National Forest, Oregon, courtesy of KVAL.com. Over the weekend, a man driving through Willamette National Forest, his vehicle became stuck in the deep snow. They've been having a lot of snow there. He had no cell phone reception, and he could have been in a dire situation. Like, he can't get out of here. Luckily for him, he had a drone. So there's no cell phone service at all in this part of the park. So what he did was he wrote a text message on his phone, hooked it up to his drone, and then flew it up until it reached level to get a cell phone tower, texted the person for help. The Lane County Sheriff's search and rescue team were then sent out. He was rescued along with another person who was also stuck in the snow nearby.
Wait, time out. So he typed the text, hit send, but it wouldn't send until it got reception and then it went through. That is brilliant. So we all need to buy drones.
And he saved someone else. And
yes.
And then they both died at the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. That's
nobody died. And there was a story that I told Deuce about earlier.
Yes.
I cannot wait to hear this off air.
And like, even like as I read, I'm just like, I can't do this.
It was good. It was good, but it got too dark. So that one's a good one.
Yeah.
Ended on a high note.
Oh, I love that, Chris.
That's great. Well,
yeah.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight. I have one question for you, Morgan. Lakers play the Grizzlies tonight. Who do you root for in that game?
I guess the Lakers.
You do. You root for the Lakers
You don't
tonight.
have to root for them. You just
you need. Let's go, AD. Vandy, hit that.
Vandy.
Yeah. Like, you could be a Lakers fan tonight.
No. That saying that out loud is disgusting.
AD, block that shot. Let's go. Lonnie Walker.
Awful fans.
All right.
Barf.
Kettles and Rami coming up next. It's Deuce and Mo. We love you guys, but we got to go.
See ya.